From pretty much the present, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you a week of old-time radio detective podcasts from 2012. Because these podcasts are many years old, any offers or information included in the podcast may not be valid unless they're currently reflected on our Great Detectives of Old Time Radio website at greatdetectives.net. Here now is a week of old-time radio detective podcast. Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. You can give me a call, 208-991-4783, and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/radio detectives. And I want to call out a couple of folks who have helped bringing the show to you today. Thank you so much to Deanna and also to Benjamin for your very nice donations. They're much appreciated. We'll go ahead and we will send along access to our premium site, which we do with all donations of $7 or more. All right, well, now it's time for today's episode, Death's Bargain Basement.
William Gargan stars as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator.
People who are in the market for murder should always pay full price. You can't get a cut rate on a killing. All you can get is a cutthroat.
The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barrie Craig, confidential investigator.
Barrie Craig speaking. In spring, they say, a young man's fancy lightly turns to thoughts of love. He doesn't go quite that far with a confidential investigator. He's been around too long. He's seen too much. He waits till it gets to be summer, and then, if he's me, all he does is buy a new tie.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I need a tie.
Sport, business, or l'amour?
I want to wear it around my collar.
Oh, one of those. Are you going to try to impress anyone, or will it be just to keep your collar button from showing?
I don't wear collar buttons. My shirts are all sewed together at the top.
Must make it difficult to get into them.
No. All I do is shrink my head. Now, look. I'd like a tie.
Well, all right. By the way, is that your friend peeking in at the door?
Friend? Hold on. No, I don't know him.
I'm glad of that.
Why?
Oh, it's hard to be sure at this distance, but he looks like the kind of man who...
Who?
Gets his ties at a department store.
No.
Yes.
Oh, the cat. The clerk finally parted with a tie. It didn't cost much more than a week's salary. I had it wrapped and left. I walked down Madison Avenue and admired the girls. There are always girls walking on Madison Avenue, and they're always admirable. The little man who'd poked his head into the haberdashery store didn't look at the girls. He was too busy following me. I went into Willie's wagon. Only a very brave man, or a desperate one, would follow me there. He was either brave or desperate. Willie was too busy to bother about customers. He was on the phone worrying about the 5th at Saratoga. I decided to make conversation. Hey, you.
Me?
Come here.
All right.
Now, sit down.
Yes?
Fine. Now, that's the tie I just bought. You like it?
Well, frankly, no.
You must be the kind of a man who buys his ties at a department store. Oh, it's like that. Here, drink some water before you pass out.
No, I'm all right.
You've also been following me around. Why?
I've been trying to get my courage up.
To insult my taste in ties?
To ask you to help me.
You don't need courage for that. Just money.
Yeah, you're right, of course. Mr. Craig, my name is Homer Dibble.
How do you do?
How do you... I am, or was until last night, an accountant for G.J. Thomas.
The big department store boy?
Yes. Well, I was working on the quarterly audit yesterday, and I'd caught up on my regular work, and I'd found a minor discrepancy in the accounts.
In whose accounts?
I didn't know. I had only the final balance sheets. I'd have had to check back on the departmental reports to find out who was responsible.
And did you do that?
Oh, it was a question of getting authority, so I reported the discrepancy to G.J. himself.
And?
G.J. was very strange, abrupt. He said he knew about the discrepancy, that he was going to take care of the embezzler himself. And why the devil had I rushed the audit?
He doesn't approve of ambition?
Well, I don't know, but the last thing he said to me was...
Yes.
Dibble, you're fired.
Nice man.
Oh, I'm sure G.J. wasn't himself. Mr. Craig, I liked my job at that store. There must be something behind G.J.'s firing me like that. If you'd look into it...
Well, could be. That minor discrepancy you mentioned, how much was it?
$37,241.98.
Obviously an inside job, that 98 cents. I think we'd better go visit Mr. Thomas.
I don't dare. If he knew I'd spoken to you about it.
He's doing a very dangerous thing. Covering up a theft, taking the law into his own hands, like playing with a loaded gun.
You think it's that serious?
It could be. Suppose we find out. Mr. Dibble was highly concerned. I was highly concerned, too. The situation had all the ingredients of a beautiful mess. I don't admire messes, especially when they involve $37,241. Oh, yes, 98 cents. Business at the Thomas department store must be good.
Yeah, it is an impressive house, isn't it?
Yeah. If they played their cards right, they could probably get Grant to move here.
I'm worried.
What about?
Oh, G.J. is likely to be very angry with me. He might fire me.
He did fire you.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think that doorbell took the first time. Maybe not the second time either. So... That's an answer, one I don't like. Oh, it's open. That yell came from someplace down that corridor.
Oh, dear. Whatever will G.J. say?
Oh, we'll ask him. First, we've got to find him, though. Door up ahead's ajar. Uh-huh. Leads to the place these doors always lead, the library.
Good heavens. G.J.'s butler's lying down. Looks very peculiar.
Maybe he didn't think of that when he fainted. After he yelled.
Fainted? At what?
Well, it's seeing G.J. Thomas behind the desk here.
I can't...
Lying down, too. But his case is a little more serious. There's a knife in his back.
Oh, dear.
Easy now, don't you start fainting on me. What happened is obvious. We rang, the butler started down the hall, went into the library to check with Thomas, saw the blood, and... Well, what happened to Thomas is obvious, too.
Someone murdered him?
Whoever it was didn't stick a knife into his back because he thought it would improve Thomas's disposition.
What shall we do now?
We could notify the police, but we won't. Come on.
But...
The butler can take care of that when he comes to. We're going to the store.
Why?
Dollars will get you donuts that murdering Thomas was only half the murderer's job. My car was out front. We went away in a hurry. I couldn't be sure, but if 2 and 2 still added up to 4, we were getting closer to the killer every block we traveled. Well, G.J. Thomas's pride and joy. There's a night watchman on duty, isn't there, Dibble?
Yes, there is.
Fine. Let's bang on the door. Well, net result, dead silence. Time's passing, Dibble. Would you have a key to the store?
Well, yes, I do.
Even though you were fired?
Well, I forgot to turn it in.
Uh-huh. Okay, open the door.
All right.
Now, where are the files kept?
Second floor, accounting department.
Lead the way.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
Place doesn't look right. No women battling happily over marked-down girdles.
Up these stairs, Mr. Craig.
No sight or sound of the night watchman yet. I could be happier if I could locate him.
Along this hallway. That door there.
Uh-huh. Now, the light's on, and... Now, don't faint, Dibble. There's your night watchman, unconscious but alive. More bodies lying around in this case than... Hey, Dibble.
Yes?
Smell anything?
I think it's smoke, sir.
Smoke. Where's that door lead?
The inner office.
Inner office. Oh, smoke's a little stale. Somebody built a bonfire in the wastepaper basket. Only ashes left.
But what
Were the ashes before they got that way? Easy, Dibble.
is it?
Yeah. Those were records, Dibble. The ones with the minor discrepancy in them.
I imagine you're right.
Doesn't take too much thought to see it. Thomas was murdered, the records burnt, no evidence of embezzling left. Dibble, in whose department could that discrepancy have arisen?
Well, in several. 3 anyway.
Tell me about them.
Well, maybe in Mr. Connor's department. That's sales. Or Mr. Wainwright's. He's promotion. Or Miss Welch, head of personnel.
Uh-huh. That's 3 possibilities for murder, and of course, there's a 4th.
A 4th? Who?
You.
You're joking.
No. Matter of fact, you're the likeliest possibility. You were fired because Thomas had found you'd been stealing money. You killed him and burned the files.
Do you believe that?
Did you kill Thomas and so on?
No.
I always believe my clients, so I'll believe you. The police aren't likely to agree with me, though.
Oh, dear.
Better use stronger language, Dibble. You're in trouble. Once this thing breaks, I won't be able to help you much either. I'll be on the outside. If only... Dibble,
Yes?
how hard is it to get a job here?
Well...
If I'm going to be useful in this thing, I've got to have some kind of standing. Here at the store. I've got to be here. A job would be a perfect cover.
Well, if you had a letter of recommendation...
I'll have one.
from one of the stockholders, say.
Name one.
Mr. Stuber.
I'll have a letter from Mr. Stuber.
You know him?
You've asked your quota of questions for tonight, Dibble.
Oh, isn't your scheme a bit drastic?
Maybe. But what they do to you for murder is even more drastic. Mr. Dibble blinked his eyes several times and started to turn green. On him, it didn't look good. I dragged him out of the store. The air helped, and by the time I dropped him at his house, he looked comparatively normal. I wouldn't know compared with what. And the next morning, I reported to personnel at the G.J. Thomas department store. After a while, somebody got around to noticing me. It couldn't have been more than a week later that,
Mr. Craig,
Yes,
come in, please.
thank you.
I've just been reading this letter of recommendation of yours.
You must be a slow reader.
I beg your pardon?
I spent most of the morning in that anteroom. I didn't care for the furnishings to start with.
Now, look here.
You're Miss Welch, aren't you?
I am.
And why don't you stop trying to sound as if you were 50, hopeless, and hideous? That's a nice blush.
Well, now, you can stop all that. This letter gives you a very nice recommendation.
It should.
What?
Mr. Stuber is very enthusiastic about me.
So I notice. Which means that whatever I personally think of you, I'll have to hire you.
What do you personally think? Oh, you don't have to answer that now.
Thank you.
Save it for after hours.
The question is, where can you serve Thomas best?
Well, it's your question. Go ahead and answer it.
I could put you in lingerie.
Over my dead body. Say, there's a joke there if we want to struggle for it.
We don't. Oh, I know.
I don't like the look in your eye. It's not friendly.
We're starting a demonstration display in the basement today of dishwashers.
Dishwashers? I'm not the domestic type.
Women away from home don't look for the domestic type. You'll do. Mr. Craig, is it?
You know it's Mr. Craig. Does it have to be...
Dishwashers? Yes.
Okay, Miss Welch. To the dishwashers. They gave me a few instructions first and then let me loose in the basement with a dishwasher. Neither of us took to the other. But it was all right before the customers came. After that, everybody had trouble. No, madam, it doesn't make that noise all the time, only when it's hungry. Madam, it's of no interest to me at all that your husband's a vegetarian. This machine washes dishes, not your husband. You want me to demonstrate this machine to you? Okay, lady. Now you take a dish here. Any dish, even one like this. Now you put it in the machine. Now you press the button. And the dishwasher. In the meantime, you can file your nails, hit your baby, spy on a neighbor, or if you're brisk, kill your husband. In short, carry on the ordinary activities of a housewife. And when you're through... find out you needn't bother any longer about that dish. You sweep up the pieces, place them in a convenient can, which can be purchased in the can department, and then you dine out. Good afternoon, madam.
Craig.
Oh, hello, Miss Welch.
I've been watching you work.
You should have told me. I'd have made an extra effort.
Heaven forbid. There's a phone call for you, Craig, in my office.
Thank you.
After you're through, I've something to say to you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Only one thing. Before you go.
Yes?
Did you change the hookup on the machine around any?
A little here and there.
Didn't our mechanic take care of that?
Sure. But then all the darn machine did was wash dishes. Miss Welch was very pretty, even when she wasn't blushing. She was even prettier when she blushed. But then I decided the red in her face wasn't a blush. I went to take my phone call. Hello?
Mr. Craig?
Yeah.
This is the Samaritan Hospital. A friend of yours, Mr. Dibble, asked us to call you.
What's he doing now?
He was struck by a hit-and-run driver this morning.
What's his condition?
He wants to see you as soon as possible.
I'll be over,
His
but...
condition is fair, Mr. Craig.
I suggest you put a guard in his room.
But we don't do that with accident victims.
What makes you think it was an accident? It took a little more than that, but finally a guard was assigned to make sure that Mr. Dibble's condition wouldn't get worse rapidly.
Finish your phone call, Craig.
Finished.
Only the fact that the letter you brought me is from one of our largest stockholders keeps me from firing you.
Let's be happy it was such a nice letter.
But I'm not going to put you back in selling. An office job would be safer. Let's see. Connor can use a clerk. Wainwright needs a bookkeeper. Have you ever kept books, Craig?
Frequently. But then the library would always get nasty and... Well, I mean, sure.
Then you will report to Mr. Wainwright down the hall, promotion department. And Craig.
Yes?
Working for Mr. Wainwright has certain disadvantages.
It has?
Yes, Mr. Wainwright has a very quick temper when he loses it. And I can easily imagine circumstances under which he might lose it with you.
Well, now, that's definitely unkind.
It's murder.
I went down the hall to the office of the terrible-tempered Mr. Wainwright. I wondered how accurate Miss Welch had been about just how terrible that temper was.
So you're Craig.
I'm Craig.
You don't look like a bookkeeper.
Sorry. Maybe it's because I'm out of practice.
You do double entry, of course.
Oh, sure. All the time.
Indeed. Very well. You'll find your work laid out for you. The desk in the corner over there.
Thanks.
A bookkeeper, hmm?
Only during office hours.
Well, these are office hours. I'll be in my office if you need me. I'd advise you to concentrate on your work, young man.
Yes, sir.
That should give you trouble enough.
I didn't like Mr. Wainwright's last remark. It was so right.
Hello.
Huh? Oh, hello.
You the new bookkeeper?
Yeah. I've discovered something, though.
What's that?
There's something basically wrong with bookkeeping. The assets always match the liabilities. It can't be coincidence.
You're Craig, all right.
I'm Craig, all right.
My name's Connor, head of sales. Craig, it must have seemed a good idea to you.
What must have?
Pretending to be an employee here and working on the suspects from the inside?
Oh, it was a wonderful idea. Didn't work too well, would you say?
Oh, we all know who you are.
Miss Welch? Wainwright?
Yes?
Did I talk in my sleep? No, I haven't slept around here yet.
Miss Welch's receptionist recognized you.
I didn't recognize her.
A friend of hers once hired you.
Too bad. Interesting anyway that a couple of suspects pretended not to know me. Miss Welch and Wainwright.
Well...
And the third one is maybe hoping to make that seem important, clearing himself in the process.
All I can say to that is no. But I'd advise you to be careful. Whoever stabbed G.J. and knocked out the night watchman in order to burn the records...
How did you know that the night watchman had been knocked out?
Well, Wainwright told me.
Forgetting that for the moment. Had there been any quarrels between Miss Welch and Thomas?
No.
How about Wainwright and Thomas?
Well, Wainwright's got a violent temper. Perhaps I shouldn't say this. I may be doing Wainwright an injustice.
But you'll say it anyway, won't you?
What? Hello, Wainwright.
You're not careful enough about shutting doors behind you. You might have asked me, Craig. Yes, I had a fight with G.J. I threatened to beat his brains out the next time I saw him.
Well, that probably soothed him. Are you telling me this to show how truthful you are so I wouldn't bother considering you as a handyman with a knife?
Well, you...
Watch your temper, Mr. Wainwright. It's notorious. Connor, were you on good terms with Thomas?
Sure. I made him laugh.
Which one of you drives the car?
We all do, including the luscious Welch.
Too bad. It's lunchtime. I get hungry at lunchtime. I'll be back after lunch, though. Anyone want me to bring him a sandwich? Nobody did, which wasn't surprising. I would have had trouble getting a sandwich at the Samaritan Hospital anyway. I haven't got much time, Dibble, but...
It was nice of you to visit me.
Not nice. I'm working. Dibble, could your accident this morning have been a genuine one?
Oh, no. The car came right up on the sidewalk after me.
Okay, next question. How much would it hurt you to be moved?
Well, a bit, perhaps, but why do you ask?
I want to take you back to the store with me.
Is it important?
Yes.
Well, then it doesn't really matter how much it hurts, does it?
It did hurt, but Dibble didn't whimper. I decided I liked him. I hoped I'd be able to keep him out of trouble. The trouble his late employer, G.J. Thomas, had run into. On the ride over to the store, I coached Dibble. He was horrified. I was asking him to tell a lie. By the time I got through telling him a few things about the methods with which murderers are caught, he was very disillusioned. How's the wheelchair feel?
Only way to take a walk. Won't everyone be surprised to see me here?
Happily surprised, except one person.
Who's that?
The murderer. Now, the first stop, Wainwright's office. Now, let's get the door open. And make an entrance.
What the devil?
Now, hello, Mr. Wainwright. Meet Mr. Dibble.
I know, Dibble. What happened to you, Dibble?
Somebody tried to kill me.
A rabbit like you?
Even rabbits can be dangerous. Mr. Wainwright, would you mind getting hold of Mr. Connor and Miss Welch?
Why?
It might be fun.
I don't think it will be fun.
Well, do it anyway. After all, you know who I really am.
Well, all right.
Mr. Wainwright didn't seem very happy about something or other.
He's not a happy man. Don't worry about it. You remember what I told you to do?
I remember.
Good.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Mr. Connor.
Brother, what a binge you must have had.
I'm not hungover. I was run over.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to be light and happy. The rest of our miserable little crew. Darling Miss Welch, stalwart Wainwright. Oh, of course, someone's missing.
Who?
G.J. Thomas, remember him?
Shut up, Connor.
Mr. Wainwright is so blunt, manly.
If nobody minds, I'd like to point out that someone in this room murdered Thomas.
I mind, but what can I do?
Actually, there's no problem. The identity of the killer wasn't hard to establish. But there was a lot of confusion around that central point. It might help to clear it up.
Well, go ahead. Clear it up.
Thanks. Now, one of you three had embezzled some $37,241.
And 98 cents.
Let's not forget the 98 cents. Thomas knew about that, summoned the guilty one to his house in order to confront him or her with his or her guilt.
Is that fact or theory?
Half and half, say. Now, the guilty one promptly proceeded to kill Thomas. Dibble, whose account was short $37,000 odd? Come on, Dibble.
All right. Miss Welch's account.
What?
Well.
You said something, Miss Welch?
That statement's ridiculous.
That won't stop him from making it in front of a jury.
It'll be his word against mine. We all know the records themselves were destroyed.
Still, a jury might believe Mr. Dibble. What do you think, Wainwright?
I think Dibble's crazy.
And you, Mr. Connor?
I never cared for the luscious Welch, Craig. So efficient. I'm glad the records showed her to be the embezzler.
But they didn't.
What?
Well, what do you...
They were burned before Dibble got to them.
Then how does he know she was the
He
one?
doesn't.
This isn't very funny.
It isn't funny at all. Wainwright, did you tell Connor the night watchman had been knocked unconscious when the records were burned?
No, I didn't know that myself.
So, Connor, the only way you could have known was because you yourself knocked him out and burned the records, which showed you to be an embezzler.
Maybe they did, but they were phony. That's why I had to burn them. With Thomas dead, I knew I'd be suspected of his murder, even though I wasn't an embezzler.
A little weak, Connor.
Mr. Craig.
Yes?
This isn't very pleasant. Is it all right if I leave now?
Sure.
Thanks.
Clever woman, Miss Welch.
Forget her. What I want to know is why
Let's
Connor...
not forget, Miss Welch.
What are you driving at, Craig?
You're all overlooking one small fact.
Which is...
G.J. Thomas was stabbed in the back.
In the back? That means...
It means that Wainwright, who threatened to beat Thomas's brains out, has to be innocent of Thomas's murder.
Of course. Unless there were signs of a struggle.
No signs of struggle.
Then G.J. would never have let Wainwright get behind him.
True.
We already know I didn't stab G.J. Craig, will you stop sidling around?
Keep your voice at normal level and keep talking.
But where does G.J.'s being stabbed leave me?
Equally innocent. The records show...
They were false.
...that you were an embezzler. He'd summoned you to his house to confront you with your supposed guilt. Would he have...
Let me get behind him? Of course not.
But there's someone who did get behind him. Someone who's behind this door. Sorry to disturb your aim. Yeah, I'll take that. Ah, thanks. Yeah. Someone who got behind G.J. Thomas. Someone he didn't suspect and hadn't fought with. Who could it be but...
Miss Welch.
The police came and took her away. She'd stopped looking luscious by that time. She was a killer, trapped. And killers are never luscious or lovely or anything else but deadly.
Miss Welch had embezzled the money, falsified the records, and it was very clever of you to detect her, Mr. Craig.
Thanks.
Oh, I have your check here.
Oh, forget it.
What?
You're getting your job back at the store, but even so, you can't afford me. Besides, I make it a rule never to get paid twice for the same job.
But you haven't...
I will be. Don't forget that Thomas Department Store owed me 1 day's salary for well, I did demonstrate the dishwasher, but never mind what it owes me the salary for. Just make sure they pay it.
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, Death's Bargain Basement, was written by Louis Vittes. Next week, it's the strange story of Midsummer Lunacy, about which Barrie Craig has this to say.
In next week's story, Midsummer Lunacy, a fortune-hunting manicurist bites her nails down to the cuticles, and the man of her schemes loses his mind easier than he loses his heart. Good night, folks. See you next week.
The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production with William Gargan, starring as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator, directed by Arthur Jacobson. Also heard were Templeton Fox, Hilary Hall, Rye Billsbury, Olan Soleil, and John Stevenson. Eddie King speaking. It's tough to be left out. Yes, ask any serviceman how it feels when the mail is being distributed to discover you.
Welcome back. Well, they kind of turned things around a couple times as to who actually was the murderer. Kind of a roundabout way, but Barrie Craig got it done. All right, well, now we do turn to listener comments and feedback. Tim sent in a pretty lengthy email. He did comment on the great detectives. He said, on the topic of detective shows, Barrie Craig, confidential investigator, has moved into my number 2 position for top detectives on Adam's Great Detectives podcast list. It would take a great deal to displace Pat Novak for hire from the number 1 position. He has a firm grip on that spot. Also, I will miss Candy Matson a lot. Natalie Masters did a superb job of portraying the hard-boiled but very feminine detective, and Marty's writing was just perfect. Definitely a series I'll miss, and I hope somewhere somebody's got some more transcriptions that we'll eventually be able to play. All right, well, thanks so much for all your comments and support. That will do it for today. We will be back tomorrow with the first regular episode of the Poirot radio serial. So be sure to join us then. And also next Monday, it's another episode of Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator. Well, I do want to begin by thanking those who have given in support of the show. So thanks so much for Paul, and the show is brought to you by support of our listeners. Also want to thank William for pointing out a technical error with our feeds for both Great Detectives and for Dragnet. We got that fixed, and appreciate him reporting that error. Well, now it's time for us to enter into listening to the actual Poirot radio series. Poirot had been very popular in the United States already, as evidenced by the episodes we've heard from Campbell's Playhouse and from Murder Clinic. So, of course, U.S. radio series was in order. Just like they would do with the Father Brown series that they would air in the summer of 1945, Mutual moved Poirot to New York. And it's for this reason, and not using actual Agatha Christie stories for the episodes, that the series is not particularly well liked by many Agatha Christie fans. However, it's a very interesting, I guess we could say, what-if situation with the great Belgian detective. This particular episode is recorded against the backdrop of World War II, and late in World War II in particular, there was a shortage of housing, and that definitely plays into today's plot. You'll also hear the voice of Agatha Christie in introducing this series. So we have the series premiere. This episode comes from February 22nd, 1945, and it's called The Case of the Careless Victim.
Agatha Christie's Poirot. From the thrill-packed pages of Agatha Christie's unforgettable stories of corpses, clues, and crime, Mutual now brings you, complete with bowler hat and brave mustache, your favorite detective, Hercule Poirot, starring Harold Huber in The Case of the Careless Victim. meeting Hercule Poirot in his first American adventure, it seems only fitting for the millions of faithful readers who have followed the little Belgian detective's career in book form to meet the famous lady who created this famous character. So it is our privilege to present a message from Agatha Christie introducing Hercule Poirot from London, England. The next voice you hear will be Miss Agatha Christie's. Go ahead, London. We regret that due to atmospheric conditions, we have been unable to bring you Miss Christie from London. However, we have a recording which she made earlier today and which was transmitted by shortwave to this country. We present it now.
I feel that this is an occasion that would have appealed to Hercule Poirot. He would have done justice to the inauguration of this radio program, and he might even have made it seem something of an international event. However, as he is heavily engaged on an investigation, about which you will hear in due course, I must, as one of his oldest friends, deputize for him. The great man has his little foibles, but really, I have the greatest affection for him, and it is a source of continuing satisfaction to me that there has been such a generous response to his appearance on my books. And I hope that his new career on the radio will make many new friends for him among a wider public.
Thank you, Miss Agatha Christie. And now, Mutual presents Hercule Poirot in his first American adventure, The Case of the Careless Victim.
Mademoiselle?
Huh?
This is the Cozy Home Apartment Renting Agency.
Well, we got something to rent, yeah.
I have the desire to rent an apartment.
Who hasn't?
Please, mademoiselle, do not jest. Alors, I have with me a brief dossier of my requirements. Please to read it.
Well, all right. Gentleman desires a bright, sun-shining apartment of a reasonable quietness near the heart of the city. Should be furnished with the utmost charm, French, provincial, if possible. Price is of no consequence as long as it is very reasonable. Please communicate with me at the Hotel Windsor, Hercules, P-O-I-R-O-T. Poirot.
No, mademoiselle. The name is Poirot. Hercule Poirot.
Well, I wish you luck, Mr. Poirot.
Well, finding an apartment, mademoiselle, is not a matter of luck. It is a matter of employing the little gray cells. If you can find an apartment for me, please do me the kindness to inform me.
Sure, if you'll do something for me.
And what is that?
If you can find an apartment for me, please do me the kindness to inform me.
Going up. Floor, please.
Number 5. You are new here, no?
Yes, I only came on yesterday. You're Mr. Poirot, aren't you?
Poirot.
Oh, Poirot, one of the boys pointed you out. Yes, sir. 5th floor.
Oh, 1,000 apologies, madame.
Not at all. It was entirely my fault.
Madame appears troubled. Perhaps I may be of some slight assistance.
No, Well, if you're sure you don't mind.
But of course not.
You see, it's my door. It won't open.
And where is this alternate door,
It's right down the corridor, room 515.
If I may have the key.
But that's just it. The door isn't locked. I left it open only 10 minutes ago.
Indeed. Madame is very trusting, eh?
It is. You see, it's stuck. It won't budge.
It is not precisely stuck, madame. It gives a trifle. This door is barricaded.
Oh, my goodness.
Voila, she moves, eh?
Oh, thanks a million. Now, what do you suppose?
No, wait, madame. Perhaps it is better if I look first. Hélas, it is as I have feared.
What is it?
You do not know? Look.
Oh, it's a man. Is he...
Oui, madame. He has been strangled.
Oh.
This is murder. Zut alors, I must compliment you, madame. Your color, it is excellent, and you did not even commence to faint. For one who...
I don't fall apart in a crisis, if that's what you mean. And furthermore, I'm not madame. I'm mademoiselle, by choice. Miss Abigail Threshold. And now, if you'll get that corpse out of here, I'd like to sit down.
That I regret I cannot do, mademoiselle. The body must not be touched before the police arrive.
Police?
Well, yes, of course, the police. I am calling them now. Hello? Ah, Inspector Stevens. It is I, Hercule Poirot. Alas, no. I have not yet found the apartment. But I have found something of perhaps more interest. A corpse. Right here in my hotel. Room number...
515.
Number 515. Mademoiselle, what are you doing with the body?
Nothing. I was just trying to see his face.
You will have that opportunity later. Pardon, Inspector. We are room 515. Bien. We shall expect you immediately. Eh bien, Miss Thresher, now that you have observed the face of this unfortunate one, perhaps you will be good enough to tell me who he is?
I certainly will not. I'll wait for the police and let them ask the questions.
As you desire, mademoiselle. I merely wish to point out one thing. It is you the police will question first.
Me?
But of course, you are the most likely suspect, no?
All right. What do you want to know?
First, what are you doing here in this hotel?
Why, I've lived here for 10 solid years, ever since I left West Costigo, Maine.
And what do you do? What is your occupation?
Why, I don't have any occupation. I've got a little income, and I like it here in New York, and last few years I've been doing war work, Red Cross, and things like that.
You seem a trifle vague, mademoiselle. Now, about this man. Who is he?
I don't know. I never saw him before in life.
Mademoiselle, I advise you to consider your answers with care. Do not forget, a man lies dead in this room.
I can't help that. I don't know who he is or how he got here. I told you I was out of the room for 10 minutes.
That may be, Miss Thresher, but it does not help you. This man has been dead for at least 1 hour.
How do you know?
If you will touch the body, you will observe it is already beginning to cool. Therefore, mademoiselle, if you left this room only 10 minutes ago, your situation is indeed grave. For this man was already dead.
Oh, but I couldn't have done it.
So? And why not?
Because his body was lying right across the doorway. You know perfectly well I couldn't get out through this doorway and still leave a body wedged against it. Belgian surety, indeed.
Very good, mademoiselle. But you could have murdered him in here, make your departure by way of this fire escape through the room overhead, and come down inside the building to this corridor where you so innocently made my acquaintance. You see, there is evidence that the fire escape has but recently been used. Now it is not so amusing, eh?
I don't care. I had nothing to do with this. I know you detectives, you're out to get a suspect, and just because a man was murdered in my room,
Gently, mademoiselle. All is not lost. Fortunately, you deal with Hercule Poirot, who goes one step beyond the obvious. You see, this poor man was not murdered in your room. He was killed in the room overhead.
But why? Why kill him upstairs and leave him on my doorstep?
That, mademoiselle, we shall discover in due course.
All right, Mr. Poirot, now that you've got the corpse safely locked in my room and us outside, what am I supposed to do? Sleep in the fire escape?
I do not think that will be necessary, mademoiselle. You are coming with me to the lobby where we shall wait for my friend, Inspector Stevens. He will see that you are comfortably sheltered for the night.
Oh. Tell me, Mr. Poirot, how did you figure out that the murder took place upstairs?
Is it not apparent, Miss Thresher? Please to squeeze the bell for the elevator. I look out of your window and observe the fire escapes. And what do I find? Everywhere the dust reposes peacefully.
Well, naturally. The help is too busy to polish fire escapes.
Ah, mademoiselle, but on one stairway, the one leading up from your window, all is disarranged. There is a broad, clear path through the dust, and it is precisely the width of a human body. And since the path extends only to the floor above, it is obvious the body has been dragged down from room 615. Also, on the garments of the dead man, on the trousers, the left elbow, and across the shoulders, there are unmistakable traces of rust. Ah, voila, the elevator.
Going down.
Monsieur, would you be good enough to explain why you were so long in arriving?
Huh? Oh, it's this old car. Every once in a while it goes on a fritz.
Comment? On the fritz?
Out of order.
Yeah, it got stuck on the ninth.
You have been on the 9th floor all this time?
Yeah, that's right.
That is difficult to believe.
Why?
Because the indicator has been pointing to the basement.
Ah, that indicator. As soon as anything goes wrong, it flops.
I am not so sure that is true of the indicator. But unquestionably, monsieur, it is true of the too clever murder. As soon as anything goes wrong, it flops. Eh bien, Inspector Stevens, there is the situation. An unknown man strangled to death in one room and dragged down the fire escape to another.
Poirot, if this body is the person I think it is, the commissioner will have my head.
Ah, mon ami, forgive me, you seem agitated.
And we are warned, too. I assigned my best man to guard him, the smartest cop in my force, Sam Trimble. Good Lord, Poirot, there'll be an international scandal.
Gently, mon ami, you go too fast, even for Hercule Poirot.
Oh.
Who is this magnificent figure of international importance?
Parrish, Jonathan Parrish.
Parrish? Ah, oui, the name rings a bell. He is the big currency expert, eh?
That's right. He's on his way to Europe to set up the new paper currency for the liberated countries. Checked in at the Windsor today. Was supposed to pick up some papers, dyes, and inks, and then hop a bomber tonight.
The fifth floor, please. An enormous undertaking, and one of great importance.
And I was responsible for his safety. He's supposed to be an eccentric sort of guy. No photographs, no publicity. Trimble was the only man on the force who knew him at all, and Trimble failed. Do you see what this means, Poirot?
I see only this, my friend. We have arrived at the first step in the solution of this distressing murder. For now, we know the motive. This way, Inspector. This is the room. Mademoiselle Thresher, your key.
Here you are.
I'll never live this down.
You exaggerate, mon ami. Even the best of men sometimes fail. Regard, Inspector. Here is your corpse.
They certainly did a job. Thunderation.
You are shocked, monsieur?
Poirot, do you realize what's happened?
But of course, Inspector. It is not Jonathan Parrish who has been murdered, but your own faithful policeman, Sam Trimble.
Poirot, that's not very funny. You knew it all the time.
Pardon, mon ami, I knew nothing of the sort.
But you distinctly told me.
No, Inspector, you told me. To me, the dead man was an unknown corpse. It could be anyone. But when you speak of two men, one a wealthy financier of international importance, the other a police officer, by employing the little gray cells, it is not difficult to conclude that the corpse with the large, high, comfortable shoes and the plain suit is the policeman.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry.
Monsieur, there is no time now for the profuse apologies.
Yeah, you're right. I've got to get to Parrish at once. The poor guy doesn't even know his bodyguard's gone. Hello. Operator, what room is Jonathan Parrish in? Huh? 615. Hold on. Poirot, that's the room directly over this one where Trimble was killed.
Precisely.
Operator, let me talk to Mr. Parrish.
I think you will find the gentleman does not answer.
Why not?
Oh, obviously, he would not witness a murder without reporting it. On the other hand, he too may...
Good Lord, Poirot, do you think he's dead too? Well, we know he received a warning from Hilary Kent.
I do not follow you, mon ami.
Huh? Oh, I don't blame it. Hilary Kent is a criminal egomaniac.
Ah, one who commits crime chiefly for the pleasure of baffling the police, eh?
Exactly. Well, this Hilary Kent, or somebody who calls himself Hilary Kent, is one of those guys. He pulled off a few clever jobs and got away with them. We don't know anything about him, but whoever he is, he's got to get his thrill out of every job. So he makes it a rule to warn his victim.
Ah, oui. I know well the type. And Monsieur Parrish, I take it, has received such a warning.
Right. Now you see why I assigned my best man.
Yeah, but now we must hasten upstairs to Monsieur Parrish's room. Already it may be too late.
Yeah, I'll go too. I don't want to stay here with this body.
You'll stay right here, Miss Thresher, until I give you permission.
If you do not mind, myself, I am not averse to Miss Thresher's company. I find her very intriguing.
No answer.
But naturally, you did not expect the murderer to sit down and wait for us. You will have to employ the pass key.
Remember, Miss Thresher, you're not to touch anything.
It's perfectly all right. I'm wearing gloves.
The inspector is thinking of fingerprints. Well, I do not think he will find any. Monsieur Kent, or whoever the killer may be, is too clever to leave any such traces.
Yeah, maybe. But I want to be sure we don't lose even the tiniest clue.
An excellent approach, mon ami. There are many interesting things we may learn here about Monsieur Parrish.
He certainly gets around a lot.
Oui, the labels on his luggage are from the four corners of the earth.
Miss Thresher, I said you're not to touch anything.
Oh, for goodness sake, it's only a book.
Books may be of great significance. Ah, oui. This one, for example. It is no ordinary book. It is a stamp album of great value. Some of these stamps are almost without price. Very interesting. This Guatemala blue.
Put up your hands, all of you. Thunderation. Don't move. I said don't move.
Have no fear, monsieur. I will not dispute the authority of your gun.
Mister, you can't get away with this. Put your gun down and talk fast. Who the devil are you?
But obviously, Inspector, this is the man we seek. Monsieur Jonathan Parrish.
That's just who I am. All right, speak up. Which one of you is Hilary Kent?
Hilary Kent?
Yes.
Well, now, wait a minute, Mr. Parrish. You've got this all wrong. I'm Inspector Stevens, Homicide Squad, and this is Hercule Poirot, the famous Belgian detective.
Yeah, so you say. You don't look like policemen to me, particularly that little squirt with a silly mustache. You stay right where you are till I check on you.
Eh bien, Monsieur Parrish, now that you are satisfied as to our identity...
Well, I've heard of you, of course. You're supposed to be the greatest French detective in the world.
Oh, always people say that about me, monsieur, but it is not entirely true. I'm not French. I'm Belgian.
Well, I wish you'd all get out of here and leave me alone. I'm expecting my daughter, and I don't want her running into a room full of policemen.
But, monsieur, you are in great danger. You must be protected every moment.
You offering me police protection? Not worth a hoot.
I beg your pardon.
That's what I said, not worth a hoot. I have protection. Some detective they assigned to me. Where is he?
He is dead.
What?
He was murdered in this very room while protecting you.
Therefore, if you do not object too violently, I shall undertake to protect you until you step aboard your airplane.
All right, stay. I don't know how long it'll be. I'm just waiting for one little parcel to be delivered. Then I'm off.
Monsieur is taking with him much equipment?
Yes, quite a load. I've already sent most of it off to the airport.
Ah, bon. That is good.
Miss, don't eat that chocolate. It may be poison.
Oh, nonsense. This candy isn't poisoned.
I wouldn't be too sure. That box of candy supposedly came from my daughter Laura. It was delivered a little while ago.
But you suspect she did not send it?
Well, she's supposed to come here in person. Should be here now, in fact. So why should she send it?
You are very shrewd, mon ami.
Excuse me.
Wait a minute, Johnny. Come back here. What you want?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if Mr. Parrish got his extra laundry box okay.
Yes, I received it.
Okay. Excuse me.
I picked up a few more things to take along, special dyes and inks. They'll just about fill up that laundry box. Excuse me, I've got to go into the bedroom and finish packing.
Crusty old bird, isn't he?
How would you be if you knew somebody was out to kill you? No wonder he's jittery.
Ah, he is irritable and nervous. That perhaps explains it.
Explains what?
Why he wears upon his feet that unique pair of socks, one of which is green and the other brown.
All right, if the man wants to be eccentric, let him be. I've still got a murderer to catch. Do you want to come along?
No, Inspector. I have attached myself to Monsieur Parrish, and I propose to see that...
Come in.
Inspector, one of the men found this on the sidewalk outside the hotel. Thought you might want to take a look at it before turning it into the lost and found.
Okay, Brady, thanks. Here, lady's purse. Usual assortment of stuff. Cosmetics, perfume, change, keys. You make anything of a Poirot?
Oh, sacre bleu.
What is it?
These initials, LP. Monsieur Parrish.
Eh?
What did you say was the name of your charming daughter?
Laura.
Good Lord. L.P. Laura Parrish.
Poirot, where are you going?
I have a little idea. Mademoiselle Fresher, please to accompany me.
How about Mr. Parrish? You were so attached to him.
I have become momentarily detached. I leave him in your care, Inspector. Protect him with the apple of your eye. Come, it will not be the first time you have left the elevator unattended, Monsieur Johnny. Come along.
Mr. Poirot, you're wasting your time in this basement, believe me.
Nevertheless, it interests me. Please to light the way.
There's nothing here, just a lot of ash cans.
One moment. What is behind this door?
Well, that's the laundry bin. We keep the solid linen in there. You won't find anything in there.
We shall take one brief glance, eh?
There, you see? Nothing but a pile of dirty sheets and pillowcases.
Good gracious, what a laundry bill they must have.
Eh bien, let us proceed to... One moment.
What is it?
Sacre bleu, ear protruding from under these sheets.
Holy cow.
A foot, a small foot. This is what I feel.
Look!
Ah, it moves. Then we are not too late. Quickly, monsieur, help me to uncover her.
That's all I know, Mr. Poirot. I was walking along the street toward the hotel. Just as I passed the alley, I was pulled in. I tried to scream, but something was pressed against my mouth.
Chloroform, Miss Parrish. Had you seen your assailant, you would have seen Hilary Kent. Hello, Miss Parrish. You are most fortunate. Another few minutes under those linens, and who knows? Voila. Here is the room of your father. Inspector Stevens, here is Miss Parrish.
Oh, well, that's a relief. Come in. I was afraid, Poirot, you'd turn up with a body. How'd you manage to find her?
That is not important now. We have found her. But we seem to have lost the father.
Oh, yes. Miss Parrish, I'm sorry. Your father's terribly upset about you, but his material was delivered and he had to rush off to the airport.
Oh, no. Don't tell me I missed him after all this.
Ah, ma pauvre petite. We have neglected you, eh? Miss Thresher, your room is now free of corpses. Please take Mademoiselle Parrish down and extend to her the first aid.
Come along, Nora. Thank you.
Inspector, I hope you do not later have cause to regret that you permitted Parrish to go off to the airport unprotected.
He'll be all right. Besides, I've got a job to do here, although, frankly, I'm in a complete fog. I can't make head or tail of the whole business.
No, Stevens. The head and the tail we have.
What?
Yes, it is merely a fragment of the middle that we still lack.
Oh, who is it? Hey, where are you going?
To see how Miss Parrish is, and to telephone the airport to see that Mr. Parrish receives the proper attention. Au revoir.
Mr. Poirot, taking me now. I'd like to have some...
Mr. Poirot.
Hello? Someone calls?
It's Johnny in that parked car.
Mr. Poirot, I got a message for you from Inspector Stevens. He rushed off a minute ago.
From Stevens? What is it? What is the message?
He says he just got word that Mr. Parrish has been seriously hurt in an automobile accident on North Salem Road.
Dear, this is too much.
You ought to get there as fast as you can. Here's the address.
52 North Salem Road. Monsieur, your duties for the day are over?
Yeah.
And this is your vehicle?
Yeah, why?
There is no time to seek a taxi, so I will impose on your kindness. Miss Thresher, quickly, please.
Okay. North Salem Road, right?
No, to the airport.
What?
But Mr. Parrish isn't at the airport. He's injured on North Salem Road.
No, mademoiselle. That is what I was intended to believe. Do you not think so, Johnny? He is not there, I assure you.
How do you know?
Well, North Salem Road is not on the way to the airport. It is in the opposite direction. This is merely a trick to keep us from the flying field. We must hurry there before it is too late.
Well, the airplane is still there, but I don't see anything of it.
Voila, over there.
Parrish, as large as life.
Yeah, it's him, all right.
Come along, please. Both of you. Monsieur Parrish.
Monsieur Poirot. My daughter. Is she?
She is at the Hotel Monsieur Rescue. She has had a small misadventure, but she is entirely safe.
Oh, thank heaven.
You are relieved, eh?
Am I? I don't think I'd have gotten on that plane if you hadn't found her. Fortunately, I didn't have to. They've been delayed a little.
Poirot.
Inspector Stevens, I knew you would not walk into the trap.
Yeah, but as usual, you beat me to it. I was halfway out to North Salem Road before I realized what was cooking.
Eh bien, here is Mr. Parrish safe and sound, eh? I suggest the bomber be inspected with great care. There may be sabotage.
Good idea.
Also, have all the doors of this building guarded.
Mr. Poirot, do I have to hang around here?
But of course, Johnny. We may require you for our return trip. Oh, Monsieur Parrish, here is your pilot who approaches.
Oh, we're ready now, Mr. Parrish.
Thank you. Oh, Captain, here comes my luggage. Will you see that it gets aboard?
All right, sir.
And be especially careful of that wooden crate. Well, goodbye, Inspector. I must admit you've been extremely helpful, and I'm much obliged.
Not at all. Goodbye and happy landing.
Thresher?
Goodbye, sir.
Sir Poirot, it's been a privilege to know you. I'm only sorry I couldn't remain to see you break the case.
But you have, monsieur.
I beg your pardon?
The case, it is broken. Inspector, meet Hilary Kent, the gentleman to whom you have just wished bon voyage.
Hilary Kent?
You're mad, Poirot.
Good gracious, I thought he was Parrish.
And that wooden crate which I have waited so long to see, it is not to be moved, Inspector.
Why not?
Because, mon ami, it contains the body of Jonathan Parrish. A charming restaurant this, n'est-ce pas? The planes circling about give one the feeling of flying, eh?
Oh, the feeling I've got is that flying gives you. Keep me from it.
Oh, that is natural. I, too, do not like murder, Miss Thresher. Inspector Stevens, everything is taken care of?
Yeah, they're taking Kent away now.
Then perhaps you will join us in a little supper.
No, thanks, Poirot. I've got to get back. I just dropped over to ask you a few questions.
For example?
Well, when did you first suspect that Kent was impersonating Parrish?
Almost from the start. When we enter the room of Monsieur Parrish, what do we find? An amazing paradox. On the one hand, we have a man who is an ardent stamp collector whose album is in perfect order. Each stamp, each shade of stamp, precisely in its proper place, except the most valuable one of all, a Guatemala blue reposing among American 3-cent stamps. Later, when I look at his socks, one green and one brown, I am certain. The man in the room is colorblind.
And therefore not Parrish, the stamp collector.
More important than that, he cannot be Parrish, the currency expert, who is to select the colors and shades of the new paper money. Therefore, if the man in the room is not Parrish, who is he?
Obviously, Hilary Kent.
Then why didn't you arrest him right away?
Because without a body, one cannot prove a murder. And I felt sure Monsieur Kent would lead me to the body.
Then you weren't guarding him, you were watching him.
Precisely.
Well, you weren't so smart. When you let him out of your sight, he might have gotten away in the plane.
Not at all. When I called the airport, it was to make sure that the plane would not leave until I gave the word.
You know everything, don't you?
Some things are obvious, mademoiselle. We can suppose Hilary Kent discovers the nature of the mission Monsieur Parrish is engaged in. What a magnificent opportunity for a swindle, eh? Perhaps the greatest in history. To remove Jonathan Parrish, fly to Europe as Parrish, deliver the papers, the formulas, the dies to the proper authorities, and then, at the moment juste, counterfeit the new currency and reap a huge fortune.
Jumping codfish. The man must be mad.
Perhaps, mademoiselle, but he is also a genius, eh? He learns that Parrish is at the Hotel Windsor in room 615. He knocks on the door. Parrish admits him and is at once strangled to death, eh? But the body, that must be disposed of, where no one will find it. There is but one thing to do. Take the body to Europe in the very packing case which stands in the room.
Then you just guessed where the body was.
No, Inspector. There was proof in the room. You remember the second laundry box which Hilary Kent asked for? This is for some special inks, he says to us, which I have only now purchased. Obviously, this is a lie. On such a mission, one does not purchase supplies at the last minute, eh? Hence, I know that these inks and dyes have been removed from some other box or crate to make room for the body.
Gracious, it's as plain as the nose on my face. What about Laura Parrish?
Oh, I've got that figured out. She calls up and says to Kent, Pop, I'm coming over. Of course, he can't allow that or the jig's up, so he gets down to the alley and eliminates her. Right, Poirot?
Exactly. As for poor Tremble, he has been with Parrish. He knows him. When he knocks on the door and Kent appears, he demands to see Parrish. Kent kills him, and since the packing case is already occupied, drags him down to Miss Thresher's room.
That was his big mistake. He should never have started up with me.
Excuse me for a minute. I think that's the morgue wagon pulling in.
Mademoiselle, may I ask you a question of a personal nature?
Fire away.
Mademoiselle Abby, you are not now engaged in a business enterprise.
No.
Eh? Are you fluent with the shorthand and the typewriter?
Why, yes.
Bon. Mademoiselle, I find you both intelligent and amusing. A rare combination in a woman. Moreover, I am in great need of a secretary with your superb qualifications.
Why, Mr. Poirot.
True, you do not yet employ the little gray cells to the best advantage. Nevertheless, if you are interested...
Oh, Mr. Poirot, for 10 years I've been devouring detective stories, and you ask me if I'm interested. Chief, you've got a secretary?
Well, Poirot, they're taking Kent away now. I guess that winds up the case.
Not quite, Inspector. Tell me, where does Monsieur Kent reside?
We found a lease on him for an apartment in Gramercy Park.
That is a good neighborhood?
Oh, swell. It's right in the heart of the city. But why do you ask?
I do not think Monsieur Kent will need an apartment for some time. But I do. You see, my friends, it is as I have said. To find an apartment in New York City is the essence of simplicity. One has only to solve 2 murders.
Agatha Christie's Poirot is directed by Carl Eastman. This is Mutual.
Welcome back. A nice little mystery here with a nice humorous twist in the end. As you have to use those little gray cells if you're going to find an apartment in New York City in 1945. I also have to credit the writers with some very good foresight, or I should say the producers, in having that recording from Christie ready as a backup. Because anytime you're dealing with electronic equipment, you always have to plan on some sort of backup. By the way, Harold Huber, who starred in the show, was a great character actor. Perhaps his most famous role was in many of the Charlie Chan movies. He played Inspector James Nelson of the New York Police Department. And played a lot of heavy roles in movies and on television. I think I saw one of his last character roles in a 1959 episode of, or it was earlier than that, I think 58 episode of Decoy with Peter Falk also guest starring on that episode. Well, we turn now to listener comments and feedback. And Andy, comments on Facebook, you should bring back Nero Wolfe. Well, thanks for the suggestion, Andy. We don't, unfortunately, have any new episodes of Nero Wolfe, or newly discovered episodes to play. But I'll take that as a play it again, Adam, request, to borrow a phrase from Casablanca. And if I do start replaying series, that's going to be close to the top of the list, along with Pat Novak for Hire, where I still, it's I think the first time we played Pat Novak. That was one of our first series, and we were done with it after about 18 weeks. But I still get folks emailing me from time to time about that one, so I'll keep those in mind. All right, well, that will actually do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with Let George Do It, and join us next Tuesday for another in these great episodes of Agatha Christie's Poirot. Well, today's episode of The Great Detectives of Old Time Radio is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you, everyone, so much for all your support, both during our listener support campaign and after. And now it's time to get into today's episode of Let George Do It. This one is called Opportunity Knocks Twice.
Personal notice. Changes my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Standard Oil Company of California, on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West, invite you to Let George Do It. Opportunity knocks twice. Another adventure of George Valentine.
No, I want to speak to Mr. Valentine.
I told you this is Claire Brooks, his assistant.
It's terribly important. I don't know what to do. If I could
Hey, what's going on, Angel?
Take the other phone, George.
Assistant? What do you mean his assistant? What kind of a man is Mr. Valentine? I only got his name.
Hello?
Oh, thank heaven. There you are.
Yeah, this is Valentine, but...
I got your name from his pocket, you see. It was a note. I'm sure he intended to call you. He doesn't have any other friends in town, so I didn't know who to turn to.
Who are you talking about, and who is this?
Miss Greta Jenkins, George. She's the housekeeper at the Abel Merton house.
Oh, okay, Miss Jenkins. And, you're talking about Mr. Abel Merton?
No, you don't understand. It's his nephew, young Larry.
Well, what's wrong with this Larry? What happened to him?
I can't do anything with him. He's sick. He went out and he drank, and he always used to drink and run about, you know. His uncle could never stop him.
He's sick. Well, look, lady, have you called a doctor?
No, he won't let me.
Well, do it anyway. This isn't Alcoholics Anonymous. Just because he had my name in his pocket.
Mr. Valentine, if I leave him alone for 1 minute, I'm afraid he'll kill himself.
What?
That's the trouble. I think that's what he tried to do tonight. Take his own life. So please.
Tried to... Well, sure, Miss Jenkins. We'll be right out.
I've got the address, George.
Only, where's this uncle, Abel Merton? You'd better...
Oh, no, Mr. Valentine. I'm all alone. Mr. Merton's gone.
Gone?
He killed himself yesterday.
I'm all right. Leave me alone, will you?
Here's another cup of coffee, George. If you
Cut it out. You want to keep me awake for 3 years?
It's better than putting yourself to sleep, Larry.
I didn't try to do that. She's crazy.
I am not. You kept saying you didn't care whether you lived or not. You kept saying...
Turn it off, will you?
Mr. Valentine, he would have killed himself just like his uncle did. And when I found your name, I thought you knowing him and all...
Miss Jenkins, get it straight, will you? We've never met in our lives.
What?
That's right, Worry Ward. Valentine's a detective.
Detective?
Sure, you don't think I ever set out to make friends with one, do you? Bad Penny, that's me, Valentine.
Well, why did you want him then? What was his name doing in
Miss
your...
Jenkins, would you leave us alone with him for a few minutes?
No, I won't. He's my responsibility now with his uncle gone.
I'm sorry, lady. Whether you like detectives or not, you asked for it. You've got one now, so thanks.
She worries all the time. I used to live here, until 5 or 6 years ago. Did I give her a bad time?
Uh-huh. Just what was my name doing in your pocket, kid?
Thought of hiring you this afternoon, that's all.
Oh?
You see, my uncle and me, we're each other's only relative. He's a widower, no kids. Practically raised me. We were... malarkey.
Now, go on, Larry. That's your Uncle Abel Merton, and he committed suicide yesterday. Is that right?
He was murdered.
That's so? Who murdered him?
Well, I did, naturally. I'm no good, you know. He booted me out of his house 5 years ago, and I've always wanted to get my hands on his money. The Merton Styles Company's a pretty rich outfit, you know. Sure, me.
Okay, you're under arrest. Happy?
Mr. Valentine, I'm all mixed up, sure. I just got back to town a few days ago. I've changed a little in those 5 years I've been away. I used to make him so unhappy, but now it was going to be different. He was such a wonderful guy.
Larry, did you act the way you did tonight because you couldn't face the idea that you're his only family and you made him unhappy and you might have been the cause?
Oh, no, things were different, I told you. We were going to get along swell. But, why would he kill himself right then? I can't believe he did.
Okay, I understand.
Maybe I just wanted to wake people up. I tell you, some people in the world are so stupid.
What people? And who says Merton's death was a suicide instead of murder? What happened?
Mr. Valentine, I've never been so frustrated and mad in my life. You want to know what made me go out and drink again, call you, blow my top, and cry in my beer? Well, I'll tell you, in 2 stupid words. Have you ever met a cop by the name of Lieutenant Johnson?
All right, sure, me, dumb old cop me. Well, listen to me, will you? There hasn't even been a coroner's inquest yet.
But then, Lieutenant Johnson, what makes the boy think
Somebody talked who shouldn't have, I don't know. That Larry found out what the police recommendation is going to be. That's all. He blew his top.
But the police believe suicide. You'll admit that? So don't beat around the bush, Johnson. You told the kid...
Look, Greatheart, I feel sorry for him, too. But don't bark at me like I didn't know what I was doing.
Lieutenant...
Because I don't. Said it before you could. You want to hear the facts, or don't you?
I was only going to say that from what we could find out about Abel Merton, well, he was such a straight-laced and stern sort of man, he just doesn't seem like the kind who would have killed himself.
Pillar of morality, I know. I suppose that's the way the boys saw him, because he was so different himself. They had a reunion, so Larry thinks that was the most important thing to the old man, but... maybe that's why Merton did it.
Oh, clear it up, will you? Let's have those facts.
Abel Merton always yelled at the kid to straighten himself out, and he finally did. What I meant just now was, well, maybe seeing the boy different made Merton look at himself a little closer.
To see what?
Merton was alone in the house night before last. Nephew and housekeeper both out. She testifies he'd been worried, upset for several weeks. Then, that night, he said he had a headache, wanted to be alone, practically snapped her head off. Brooding, unhappy, sick-looking.
No. We didn't talk to her much. We spent...
Of course you didn't. Facts. Death about 10 o'clock in his own study with his own gun.
Merton had
Yes, the revolver he took from his own desk. Fingerprints, powder burns, the works, all checked.
Uh-huh. Well, a typical suicide so far, but...
As he put it, you can only mess up your life so much. In the note he left. Think we go off half-cocked like you do? Here. His farewell to Larry, look.
Let's see. When a man messes up his life, there comes a point when it is impossible to salvage it. I know you'll understand what I mean, Larry. I'm doing what I have to do. This must be the end. Goodbye and good luck, Abel Merton.
Mm-hmm. The signature looks a little...
Oh, that's the way he always signed it. Want to say he didn't really write the suicide note himself? Well, don't embarrass yourself. For once, the experts all agree.
But mess up his life. How could a man like that...
Oh, and don't argue until you've heard all the facts. Come on. I got a man still working over in his office.
His office?
Not the type to kill himself. I'll show you how wrong you can be.
About do you do, Miss Brooks?
Hello, Mr. Stiles.
Stiles, huh? You're the other half of this company.
Yes. Abel ran it, though. Sharpest investment man in the business.
Here, through here, Valentine. Morton kept his own private office. I mean, completely private. The sanctum sanctorum. Wouldn't even give dictation in here.
I told you before, Lieutenant. Abel couldn't think clearly unless he could get away someplace, lock himself up. That doesn't mean that all his life he kept secrets.
Says you, says he. Didn't even let you in, did he?
All right. You're getting your facts. What more do you want? I thought you were all through messing.
Oh, now, take it easy, friend. Just want to check my man here.
I'm sorry. No sleep. We've been up all night.
How's it coming, Joe?
Hello, Lieutenant. 63,175 so far.
So far. There's nothing beyond the past month. I'm sure of it. I've checked myself.
You want to bet it goes back for years?
It does not. We've had certified audits. What are you trying to do, wreck the name of the company completely? We've got stockholders, you know. This isn't just
I think he's right, Lieutenant. There isn't anything earlier or it has shown up in the books outside. But in Merton's private books...
Hold it, all of you. What is
Sure, Joe. We've got to explain all this to Mr. Valentine or he'll be very unhappy.
Oh, well, you see, there's $63,000.
Sure, embezzlement. Tell everybody.
Merton had no reason to kill himself, eh, Valentine? This morning, this is the first thing we looked into. How would you go about salvaging your life if you'd embezzled $63,000?
Hold it, will you? I got Larry Merton on the phone. All right, Larry. Well, take it easy, will you? So maybe it doesn't make sense. I'm just telling you the facts. Yeah, maybe he wasn't that kind of a guy,
Right,
but...
wait a minute.
Hold it, Larry.
Match cover.
Huh?
Here, look. It was under the edge of the rug.
Let's see.
Well, it was behind his desk. It must be Mr. Merton's. You said nobody else ever came in here.
Yes, that's right.
What's that stuff written on it?
That's what I mean, scribbled in pencil.
It doesn't look like his handwriting, though. Lieutenant, I thought you went over this place inch by inch.
Listen, flycatcher. M.E.J. Witch's Dream.
Well, sounds like pig Latin. Oh, for the love of Mike, Lieutenant, I'm worn out. Can't we just...
If a man embezzles, he has to have a reason for it, doesn't he? Will you be quiet a second, all of you? Hello, Larry. Listen, did your uncle ever bet on the horses?
That's what they are, of course, flycatcher. M.E.J.
All right.
What's the matter with him?
He says no. What did you think? He also says if I can't prove it was murder, he'll hire somebody who can. A real upset boy, that he... Mr. Stiles.
Grab him.
Huh?
He's all right. Just fainted, that's all.
We'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine in just a moment.
Listen to the difference. Yes, now you can actually hear authentic scientific proof of the difference between new RPM motor oil and premium-type motor oils as designated by the American Petroleum Institute. Auto engines are equipped with irradiated piston rings, and during operation, minute particles of radioactive metal wear off the rings. Geiger counters are thus able to detect the amount of wear actually taking place. Listen now as the Geiger counters click off the difference. First, the low wear rate of the new RPM. Now the much faster wear rate of the conventional oil. Now new RPM again. You have just heard authentic scientific proof that new RPM motor oil cuts in half the wear rate of critical engine parts, doubles the life of the average auto engines between major overhauls due to lubrication.
Proved in the laboratory and checked out in severe road service, new RPM motor oil is sold with a money-back guarantee of satisfaction. Ask for it at standard stations and independent Chevron gas stations where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. Back to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. Opportunity knocks twice. But so far, if your name is George Valentine, you've seen very little of opportunity. Abel Merton committed suicide, that's what the police said, but his nephew refuses to believe it. Still thinks it must have been murder. The only trouble is, how are you going to explain all the evidence? Suicide note, technical testimony, motive, everything. Well, perhaps you realize that you're not going to explain. And so instead you question why Merton's partner, Mr. Stiles, should happen to faint.
Because I'm worn out, that's why. Up all night trying to figure those books out for the police
Did
here.
Merton always keep a private set of books?
Of course he did. Yes.
We've been through all that, Valentine.
Look, Johnson, I just want to understand this case.
I fainted, yes. Surprised I didn't do it sooner. You know what it's like to be waked up at midnight to be told your partner killed himself? To get rousted down here the next morning with a police accountant to pry into something you know is silly until you find it's not? To find your partner of 20 years has suddenly switched in the last month into a man who dipped into $63,000.
Okay, Mr. Stiles, okay. Never mind, thank you. Come on, Brooks.
Hey, wait a minute. Where are you going?
The Sportsman's Cafe. Distinguished cuisine.
What?
No television to mar your conviviality. Drinks cheap, booze for ladies.
George.
The match cover, Angel. One with the names of ponies scribbled on it.
Abel didn't bet on horses. At least I don't think he did. I don't know anything anymore.
Somebody at this place he seemed to visit might know.
Not Merton's handwriting, not Stiles' handwriting, not Larry's. So somebody else must have dropped it while in to see Merton here, that's all.
Come here, Johnson.
Huh?
Look, you really want me to quit?
Valentine, just do me one favor, will you?
Sure.
Just don't find anything more to make me right about the things I know are wrong.
Huh?
You think I believe in this case?
Okay, friend. It's a long shot, but maybe this time I'll prove it's murder.
Help you? How can I help you, Mr. Valentine?
By being honest, Miss Jenkins. No matter whose reputation you'd like to protect.
Mr. Merton was no embezzler. I don't care what anybody says or what evidence they dig up.
All right, Miss Jenkins. Just take it easy.
Was Mr. Merton in the habit of visiting cocktail bars?
No, indeed. He left that to his nephew.
Uh-huh. Well, tell me, did Mr. Merton bet on horses?
Young man, I'm not going to listen to any more libel of one of the finest men I've known. If you'll begin to talk some sense, I'll be more than willing to cooperate. If not, where are you going, Mr. Valentine?
No. This is going to be my little secret. Come on, Brooksy.
Oh, believe me, I wish I could be of more assistance, Mr. Valentine. You're the type I'd like to help.
I can imagine.
And I can imagine you imagining, dearie. But I ain't got that class of mind. Oh, heaven, that is.
Okay, lady, but the manager says you were around here 5 nights ago.
The name is Lucy. It's always been my understanding the word lady is reserved for the ones that aren't. If you follow me.
Hey, would you get that chip off your shoulder? We only want to...
Besides, how'd you know this gentleman was here 5 nights ago?
Because I just checked the newspaper to find out when certain horses were running. Seems it was 4 days ago, so I assume the guy who was thinking of betting on him was in here the night before.
And I'm the kind of girl who'd know every man who comes in the place. Huh?
Well, yes. Go on, hit me.
What are you asking all these questions for?
Oh, now, look, Lucy,
Let me see that thing, will you? Come on.
The match cover?
Yeah.
Sure. Hey, I see.
You know, people should use lighters. Look, mister, the boss is waving at me. Couldn't you come back
The
some
names of the horses are written in brown pencil.
And you made the clever observation nobody uses brown pencil.
Your boss made it for us.
Oh. Well, not one of them horses won. Did you know that?
No.
Eyebrow pencil.
Oh, why do you beat around the bush with me? Of course I wrote it. Sure, a blonde with an eyebrow pencil. So the boss told you already. So you're real deductive.
Uh-huh. You wrote this yourself. So now will you sit down and have a drink with us?
Oh, look, Mr. Valentine, once in a blue lifetime, maybe every 3 or 4 days, an opportunity knocks. A guy comes in, wants to be cordial. So I express my interest in horses.
So I write down some choices, see? And if he's real nice, he puts up the bets for me. $5 on the nose, maybe, or... Well, what's the matter? So I don't remember who it was.
Oh, yes, you do, sister. Come on, cut the stalling.
Let go of me. I don't. Somebody who maybe later went to visit a stuffed shirt named Merton, as you
George,
say.
your boss is coming.
Why should I remember? Why should I get mixed up in all...
Hey there.
You stay out of it, friend.
Give him a piece of your mind. This guy's
Relax,
crazy.
will you? I've been waving at you. You blind or something, Lucy? You left your coat across the room.
Coat? This coat?
Sure, just brought it over so it wouldn't be stolen, that's all.
Coat?
I told you all I know, and I'm getting
Oh, no,
out of
you
here.
don't. And this is the last time I'm going to... Hey, easy.
Lucy, look. All we want to know is that...
I don't want to get mixed up in things.
A mink coat. And you didn't want us to see it. Why?
Yes. He gave it to me just the other day, but I didn't know where he got the money. Honest, I didn't.
Oh, who are you talking about? Who got what money?
Oh, what's the use? Well, who do you think? How was I to know he was going to kill himself?
You mean Mr...
Yeah, Abel Merton. Well, what's the matter with you? Don't you believe he was the kind of a man who would have a girlfriend like me?
Look, Johnson, look,
So
will
you
you...
try to prove a man didn't have the reason for suicide, and what do you get? More and more evidence. He embezzled. He played the horses. Now he had a date. And probably taken him for everything he had. I tell you, all you do is get him deeper and deeper.
And I'll still make it murder. Now, for the last time, just do what I tell you.
George, the parking man brought our car around front. If you and Lucy... Lucy? Where is she, George? George!
I'm all right, Brooksy, all right.
Oh, sure, your head is still on your shoulders.
But how do you know she was the one hit you, Mr. Valentine?
I told you her boss practically saw it. Here we are. That's the place, Larry?
Yeah, it drives around the other side. Pretty lush apartment, huh?
I started talking murder to Johnson. I guess that's what did it. She took a swing with her shoe and
He's
ran.
got a general alarm out, he said. I mean, Lieutenant Johnson. He thinks...
Sure, Angel. I used to think, too. Say, look, run in and ask at the desk, will you?
All right, George. Just see if Mr. Stiles left any message. Check.
Right.
He's not at the office. He didn't answer his phone here. He must...
Step on it, will you?
I don't understand why that girl, Lucy, would have told you that story of hers. I mean, almost willingly, and then suddenly she takes a shoe
Look,
and...
kid, look. A lot of things didn't make sense. Neither did you at first. I didn't believe you.
What?
Well, I mean, I didn't believe my uncle was a pillar of morality, you know.
Too much evidence the other way?
But I believe everything now. Yeah, sometimes I wise up and start believing the obvious. And then I realize how simple a crime can be.
Outside, just a minute.
Hey, that's his car right there.
Stiles. Hey, Stiles, wait!
Look out, Valentine.
Crazy. Hey, slide over, kid.
What about Miss Brooks? She's back there.
Just hang on to your hat. You see anybody with him? See the girl?
I don't know. He went by so fast, I thought he was going to hit you.
Meeting her someplace, maybe. Ditching her someplace, maybe. Let her run for herself. Who knows?
He's heading up the back street. You can turn here.
I know a better way. Cut him off. That's what you mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's the only guy who could have done the embezzling, isn't he? Get at those books to fix him up? I mean, besides your uncle.
I guess so, but I don't understand about the girl.
Abel Merton was a nice guy. You told me so. He wouldn't get mixed up with a little opportunist like that. But she knew my name. Now, how? Unless somebody'd given her a fast call. And who knew I was heading in her direction except Stiles?
I mean, she's really his...
Sure. Stiles paid for the mink. That's why he took that money, I suppose. She was just putting on an act for me, what he told her to say. And it might have stuck if they hadn't got cold feet. But now, running away is a pretty good confession of murder.
Yeah, sure is. I told you that a long time ago, too. Hey, what the...
Take it easy. Just take it easy. We'll wait for him here. If they cut back to the highway. Only, I wonder what made them run.
Huh?
Well, suppose Stiles is an opportunist, too. Suppose he saw the perfect chance to steal some money and get away with it. All he had to do was fix a few books in a hurry, tell his grasping girlfriend to play along with a gag about being a friend of Merton's. But then tonight, everything backfired.
I'm sorry, I don't get you.
Don't you? I repeat. What made them run?
What?
The word murder, wasn't it? A word they never expected to hear. That scared the daylights out of both of them.
Yeah. You know, they ought to be coming along any second.
Oh, yeah, sure. Unless they're on the road to Mexico by now, but who cares? Because you're the biggest fool of all. You tried to make opportunity knock twice.
Knock twice?
Well, bad penny, that's what you said you were. But it takes a lead slug to press your luck as much as you have.
You're crazy. That guy in that car, he ran.
Sure he did. He stole the money. Perfect opportunity when he was phoned up at midnight and told his partner committed suicide, wasn't it? That's what the girl thought, too. Everybody thought so.
Except me.
And me. For a while, that suicide note bothered me. I didn't see how anybody could have framed that. Until I realized that nobody could have. Except you.
Very smart. I hired the right man, didn't I?
You want to hear the rest of my report? Suppose the sour apple nephew, that's you, came back to his uncle after 5 years. Only instead of open arms, he got the boot he deserved. From an uncle who was all upset over having to tell him to get out. So your uncle wrote you. When a man messes up his life, there comes a point when it's impossible to salvage it. I know you understand what I mean, Larry. I'm doing what I have to do. This must be the end. Goodbye. Signed, Abel Merton. Sure, very funny, isn't it? Made a perfect suicide note. So you killed him and framed the rest of his death and used the note for just that. But I guess you knew it wouldn't stick, not forever. So when Sucker Stiles capitalized on the death, you started pointing and yelling
It
until...
would have stuck if you'd believed it. They're running, they might get away. Don't you understand yet? You were a test case.
Sure, the police think Stiles and Lucy did it now.
I wanted a detective near me to know what was going on.
So all that's left now is to kill me. Get rid of the one guy who figured it.
Yeah,
Okay, do it.
I will. Start the motor again.
I can't. The key's bent.
Give me that.
Take it easy with that gun now. You can probably straighten the key in 10 or 15
Shut
minutes,
up.
but...
I'm going to kill you anyway.
Okay. Only before you pull that trigger, think of the noise and look where you are.
Huh?
Yeah. Precinct 37, I think it says. Maybe it's 39, I'm not sure. You might ask the cop on the curb.
Police station?
Sure. You want to go inside? There's a lot of opportunity there for a young man.
He was crazy. Why?
Well, you just said it. He was a little crazy.
But if he'd left well enough alone after Lieutenant Johnson said it was suicide...
Well, he couldn't resist a second opportunity, that's all. He told us he wanted to get his hands in the whole Merton Stiles company. With Stiles on the run, he would have moved right in.
Oh, but George...
I know. Crazy. That's what murder always is. He gambled on double or nothing. They always gamble, even though there's no chance of winning.
Far cry from you, isn't it? I was just thinking. You could never be a murderer then, I guess.
Thanks for the compliment.
That's all right. What I meant was... Well, knowing you, darling... I guess there's no opportunity that you couldn't resist.
Listen to the difference. In a few seconds, you'll hear Geiger counters measuring automobile engine wear. The engines are equipped with irradiated piston rings, which make it possible for the Geiger counters to detect wear as it occurs. You will hear authentic scientific proof that new RPM motor oil cuts in half the wear rate of critical engine parts, doubles the life of the average auto engine between major overhauls due to lubrication. First, let's listen to the Geiger counter slowly click off the low wear rate of new RPM. Now, the much faster wear rate of a premium type oil as designated by the American Petroleum Institute. Now, new RPM again. You have just heard Geiger counters clicking off the scientific proof that new RPM motor oil is years ahead.
Yes, years ahead. New RPM doubles engine life between major overhauls due to lubrication. Try it. sold with a money-back guarantee of satisfaction at independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations, where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard Oil Company of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West. Robert Bailey is starred as George with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. Let George Do It is written by David Victor and Jackson Gillis and directed by Don Clark. Ken Christie is Lieutenant Johnson. Francis X. Bushman was heard as Stiles. Harry Bartell as Larry. Noreen DeMille as Greta. And Gigi Pearson as Lucy. The music is composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter, your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, to me, that whole so-called suicide note, that to me right there, that was the big clue. And I caught it kind of early, and it only occurred to me, the way that it was addressed and written, without it being a forgery, that it had to have been addressed to the nephew. But sometimes you have a logical thought like that, and the rest of the mystery proves you wrong. So I was glad it worked out in a way that was, I guess, sensible. All right. Well, now we turn to listener comments and feedback before we leave. This one comes from Tom. It's a pleasure listening to your comments about each episode. The inside information you provide your listeners makes listening most enjoyable. Thank you. Well, thanks so much, Tom. I appreciate you listening out there. And that'll actually do it for today. Reminder, if you like The Great Detectives, we have the Old Time Dragnet show, radiodragnet.com. We're into the last season of Dragnet, but you can join in, listen to the series, radiodragnet.com. For questions and comments on this series, you can email me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. Be sure to rate the series over on iTunes. I want to encourage you to pick up your copy of All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo. It's an ebook available for your Kindle, and we take a look at the great detectives of television, radio, and movies, including Sherlock Holmes, Nero Wolfe, Columbo, Monk, and many more. And then we see what great life lessons can be drawn from their careers. It's available for $1.99 for Kindle ebooks, also usable with a wide variety of different apps that go with Kindle apps that go with the go with Android or BlackBerry. So pick up your copy. All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo. Now it's time for today's episode. Lady Waverly's Imitation Pearls.
From New York City, the makers of Clippercraft Clothes for Men and 1,036 leading retail stores from coast to coast present the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Tonight's story, The Adventure of Lady Waverly's Imitation Pearls.
Well, here we are again in Dr. Watson's cheerful study. The lamps have been lit, and from outside comes the steady drip of a soft spring rain mixed with fog.
Yes, Mr. Harris, this sort of weather always reminds me of Baker Street. I think I can do no better than tell you of an adventure that had its inception on just such a day. It had to do with a great lady's pearls, which were not altogether genuine. And it ended in the chambers of a certain well-born, but shall we say, careless bachelor in Albany.
Well, that's the first time I knew you and Sherlock Holmes ever visited the Hudson Valley, Doctor.
We didn't, Mr. Harris, unfortunately. No, Albany in this story refers to an imposing building which was originally the residence of the Duke of York in Albany. It was later divided into chambers for famous and fashionable bachelors. Oh, speaking of gentlemen of fashion, Mr. Harris, isn't that your department?
It certainly is, Dr. Watson, and in the spring, it's natural for a man to think of new clothes. And this spring, you have every right to the most your money can buy, which means you need pay no more than Clippercraft's modest prices. For Clippercraft clothes, the result of the famous Clippercraft plan, are one of America's finest values. The Clippercraft plan concentrates the buying power of 1,036 of the nation's finest stores from coast to coast, making possible steady, year-round operation, resulting in tremendous savings in manufacturing and distribution costs, and putting those savings, even in the face of today's high prices, in your pocket. And your Clippercraft dealer is a friendly, local, independent store where you get real personal attention. New spring Clippercraft suits, beautifully tailored, are only $40 and $45. Top coats in fine coverts and worsted gabardines are only $40 and $45, and sport jackets, but $26.50. Compare Clippercraft with clothes selling for many dollars more.
In short, no matter what the occasion, Easter parades or a visit to your best girl, we hope you'll continue to set sail in a Clippercraft.
Very neatly put, Dr. Watson. And now to return to the gentleman who lives in the Albany.
Oh, no, not the Albany, Mr. Harris, just Albany.
Oh.
He lived in Albany. That's how we express it, you know. Well, it all began placidly enough. It was late one dreary April afternoon. Since morning, a dun-colored veil had hung over the housetops, looking like a reflection of the mud-colored streets beneath. Neither Holmes nor I had stirred abroad the entire day. I sat in my armchair, silent and morose. The dampness had brought the usual twinges to my old bullet wound. Holmes, who was always a contrary individual, bounced about like an animated cricket. Oh, Holmes, if you'd light somewhere for just a few minutes.
Bullet acting up a bit, eh, Watson?
Oh, no more than usual in this weather, confound it.
Yes, I thought I recognized the vice-like set of the jaw. Of course, I'm not a medical man, but I think I could suggest a remedy.
Certainly not.
Aha! Did you hear that?
Hear what? The house is as still as a morgue.
A carriage just came to rest at our curb. A rather elegant four-wheeler. A mettlesome horse. The man on the box has jumped down. Now he's dashing up our front steps. Hear that, Watson? Sounds as if our visitor's errand might be urgent.
Oh, how can you tell all that? You haven't even looked out of the window.
My ears, Watson, are nearly as acute as my eyes. Yes, he is rather unrestrained, wouldn't you say? Now, it's just possible.
Oh, for pity's sake, stop deducing and go to the window and see what's up.
Very well, if you insist. Yes, the four-wheeler turns out to be an elegant equipage with the name Blevin and Cossiter embossed in discreet gold lettering on the door.
Oh, you mean it's a delivery van?
Dear me, no. Blevin and Cossiter do not deliver. They escort whatever valuables come within their purview to their destinations in what is practically a private carriage. You wouldn't expect to see Lady Blenkinsop's emeralds or the Countess of Whistleworth's rubies drive up in a lorry.
The Blevins and Positers are jewelers.
You go to the head of the class, Watson. I wonder what's wrong at Blevins and Positers, and why the man on the box has left his conveyance unattended to pay us a visit. Ah, here he is now. Come in, come in.
Holmes, for once you were wrong. He's not a coachman. He's a young gentleman in an elegant ulster and a billycock hat.
I didn't say he was a coachman. I said he was the man on the box. Why are you driving your own carriage, young man? What's happened to your usual coachman?
Well, that's what I came to see you about, Mr. Holmes. You are Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I take it?
Quite.
Burbage, he's our driver, has been bludgeoned, and the contents of Lady Waverly's box is stolen. Burbage was inside the carriage, slumped on the floor. His forehead was still bleeding. However, he was coming to when we found him.
Was he badly hurt?
I don't think so. There's no evidence of a skull fracture, just a lump over the left eyebrow. I drove him home, of course, and his wife put him to bed with a poultice.
Was he able to describe what had happened to him?
Oh, yes, he was quite rational.
Then why didn't you bring him along with you?
Oh, I couldn't, don't you know. He was in his underwear.
Oh, rubbish.
Well, I'm doing my best, Mr. Holmes. I'm at my wit's end. Of course, when my uncle hears of this, I shall probably be sacked. I never wanted the job of playing nursemaid to all those confounded jewels. Oh, I'll admit I should never have taken that nap.
Easy there, young man. No good becoming incoherent. If you want us to help you out, you'll have to pull yourself together. Oh, by the way, I'm Dr. Watson, Mr. Holmes' colleague and biographer.
Which is nothing to brag about, Watson.
Oh, I say, I am sorry. I don't know what's happened to my manners. I haven't even presented my card. Allow me.
Read it, Watson.
Archibald Trotwold Possitor. And down in the corner it says representing Blevin and Possitor.
That's my uncle. I mean, the Possitor, the one who owns most of the firm.
I see. How long have you been in his employ?
Well, just a little over 2 months. Oh, I did so want to make good on Jenny's account, you know. She's my wife. And a darling. We've been married 5 weeks last Tuesday.
Oh, that's charming.
Watson, don't interrupt. In what capacity does your uncle employ you, Mr. Foster?
Well, it's not a very impressive position, I'm afraid. I sit in the carriage and make sure everything's safely delivered to the proper address.
When a firm deals in the commodities your uncle sells, young man, I should say that's a position of considerable responsibility.
Oh, yes. I've had jewels amounting to $250,000 in my possession many times. And I assure you, if there had been anything like that in the carriage today, I shouldn't have dreamed of going home for lunch and taking a bit of a nap.
So, you went home and had a nap?
Yes, sir. You see, I had a touch of a toothache. Besides, I missed seeing Jenny at breakfast. I do hope you understand, sir.
Quite. And where did you leave the carriage with the undelivered packages?
Oh, just out in front, Mr. Holmes. It shouldn't have been too much of a risk. Burbage has been with the firm over 30 years. He's thoroughly reliable. Besides, I'd already delivered the really valuable articles, Mrs. Huddleston's emerald earrings and the Duchess of Heppelworth's diamond stomacher. There was only Lady Waverly's box left, Mr. Holmes. And it certainly never occurred to me anyone would want to lift that.
What was in Lady Waverly's jewel box?
Oh, just her pearls and a tea service.
Oh, that's a bit thick, eh, Holmes? Just some pearls and a silver tea service. I take it the service was silver, Mr. Possitor.
Well, only superficially. She had sent it to be replated, you see. And the pearls were imitations, too. Fairly good ones, I'll admit. She'd had them restrung. She keeps the real ones in the vault.
Cagey old girl, eh, Holmes?
Fortunately for her.
Well, that's my point exactly, Mr. Holmes. Well, it'll ruin our reputation to know there's been a theft of any kind. People will be decidedly skittish about having us repair their jewels if they hear of it. I don't know what my uncle will say.
When did you first discover something was wrong?
Well, when Jenny woke me from my nap. I hadn't meant to take more than 40 winks, but it was nearly 2 o'clock when she started to shake me.
Archie! Archie, darling.
Hmm?
Archie, wake up.
Oh, it's too early to get up.
Archibald, you are up. At least you ought to be. It's the middle of the afternoon. And Cook says the carriage has disappeared.
What carriage?
Blevins and Positors, of course. Cook says she thinks something's happened to Burbage. She took a look out the window while she was washing the dishes. She says she saw Burbage talking to a tall gentleman in a top hat. Next thing she noticed, Burbage seemed to be taken ill or something, because the gentleman was helping him into the cab. Cook says she was just fixing a cup of hot tea to take out to him when she looked up again and saw the carriage disappearing down the street with Burbage on the driver's box. So he must have recovered, I guess.
Oh, but that's impossible. I mean that he'd drive off like that.
Maybe he wasn't feeling very fit and decided he'd go home, too.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Burbage wouldn't do that, not without letting me know.
Well, he has. So there. And I'm not ridiculous.
Oh, there, darling. I didn't mean it.
You did so. You just don't love me anymore.
Oh, I do. I love you madly. I haven't time to discuss it now. Where's my hat? I've got to go out and find that confounded carriage.
Locating a missing carriage somewhere in London. How did you ever expect to do that, Mr. Possitor?
That detail is unimportant, Watson. It's obvious Mr. Possitor was successful, inasmuch as the carriage is now standing at our curb.
By Jove, I'd forgotten that.
Well, as a matter of fact, it wasn't too difficult to locate the carriage. I hadn't gone more than a square or so when I ran into our local policeman, who was on his way to see me. Jenny and I live in South Kensington. Well, the bobby reported that Blevins and Possitor's carriage was standing in front of the Victoria and Albert Museum without a driver. And would I be so good as to remove it, as it was impeding traffic?
But you say you found Burbage inside the carriage. Why hadn't the policeman noticed it?
Well, he was on the floor, covered by the horse blanket, Mr. Holmes.
Well, it's fortunate the Metropolitan Police has us to assist them, eh, Holmes? Or someone might take off with the Bank of England.
Don't be fatuous, Watson. Go on, Mr. Possitor. You found the coachman under a horse blanket, but stripped to his underwear and with a gash on his forehead. Where exactly on his forehead?
Well, over his left eyebrow, just under the hairline. There was a lump as big as an egg, too, and his hands were tied behind him with a large handkerchief.
His own?
Oh, no, Mr. Holmes. It was made of the finest cambric. As a matter of fact, I brought it along with me. Here it is.
Oh, good boy. Interesting. Most interesting.
Well, there's nothing distinctive about that handkerchief, Holmes. Not even a monogram.
On the contrary, my dear Watson, this handkerchief is most helpful. It tells us that the criminal, for it's undoubtedly his handkerchief, is addicted to the use of scent. Bergamot, to be exact. He's also a pipe smoker who carries a not too well-closed tobacco pouch. Notice the shreds of tobacco which still cling to the fabric. Rather rare tobacco, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we shall have to investigate it further. My high-powered microscope, Watson.
Oh, very well, but what you expect to deduce from a shred of tobacco...
Neglect no source of information, Watson, no matter how infinitesimal. Yes, from a drop of water, the true man of science can deduce Niagara Falls, as I've said before.
Oh, fiddle-faddle.
In spite of Watson's derogatory remarks, Mr. Rossiter, I am probably the greatest living authority on tobacco, both in the unsmoked stage and later when it's become ashes. But while my colleague is setting up the microscope, suppose you tell us exactly what the coachman, Burbage, had to say for himself.
Well, yes, sir. Well, I found the carriage in front of the museum right enough, and when I opened the door to look inside, I heard a moaning and groaning.
Help! Oh, help!
Hello, what's up?
Help! Get this blanket off of me.
Burbage, whatever are you doing there and in that condition?
No, close the door, Mr. Positor, sir. I wouldn't want to draw a crowd. Not in my underwear.
Now then, what's happened?
I've been conked, sir.
What?
Stood behind me, he did, when I wasn't looking. Then he stripped me of my driver's uniform, got up in the box in it, and drove us away. I've always said you could trust a man that was fond of horses. But not anymore, I won't.
Oh?
That's how we got to talking, sir. I was giving Bessie her midday oats, when down the street he comes, twirling a silver-headed cane, just as nonchalant as you please.
Fine animal.
That she is, sir.
I like horses. You mind if I give her a lump of sugar?
If she'll take it, sir. Bessie don't make up to everybody.
Oh, I think she'll accept homage from me, Bessie. That's a good girl.
Well, now, will you look at that? The J.
She seems to be favoring this hind foot.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed.
Maybe she's got a pebble in her shoe. Do you want me to investigate?
Oh, no, sir. That's a familiarity she won't stand for. I'll do it. Here, Bessie. Nice girl. Give me the oof. Easy now. Easy. That's right. Oh!
Sorry, old chap. Had to be done. Just a love tap.
Into the carriage you go.
I want that uniform.
Oh.
Still conscious, eh? Have to work fast. Yes. Off for the coat. Aha. There we are. Just what I was looking for. How convenient. The box with the Waverly crest right here on the front seat.
And so he stripped poor old Burbage, Mr. Holmes, and tied his hands with that handkerchief. After which, he drove the carriage away in Burbage's uniform.
But only as far as the Victoria and Albert Museum.
At which time he removed the Waverly box and disappeared at his leisure, still wearing Burbage's clothes.
No one would think of questioning a man carrying a large, important box if he were wearing Blevins and Fossiter's uniform.
What size is Burbage, Mr. Fossiter?
Oh, about my height, 5'11", I should say, but a bit heavier built. I don't suppose you have any idea who the thief could be, Mr. Holmes.
No, his description doesn't tally with any of our better jewelry robbers.
What description? Not a word's been said as to what the man's like, aside from the fact that the cook says he wore a top hat.
On the contrary, Watson, he's about 5'11", or he wouldn't have disappeared wearing Burbage's uniform. He's left-handed. The position of the wound on Burbage's brow gives us that interesting fact. His linen is of fine quality, witness the handkerchief. He uses bergamot, and he buys the most expensive brand of Latakia tobacco, a variety carried by only 2 tobacconists in all of London. And last but not least, when it comes to robbery, he's an amateur.
But how can you know that?
No professional jewel thief would run away with false pearls and silver plate.
That could have been an accident.
Not at all, Watson. According to Burbage's account, he recognized the box belonging to Lady Waverly. In fact, he probably expected to find it there.
You mean the thief must be someone connected with our establishment who knew the box was in the carriage?
Not necessarily. It could just possibly be an intimate of Lady Waverly who knew she was expecting delivery.
But why bother with imitation pearls and plated silver?
That, my dear Watson, is what makes this case worth investigating.
But where are we to begin?
With a visit to my friend Philip Ashton, who runs a small but select tobacco shop in the Burlington Arcade.
Naturally, there's a reason for Clipper Craft's sensational values. It's applying the world's most modern production methods to the fine old craft of clothes making. That's how we bring you truly fine suits for only $40 and $45. Suits that look really expensive. And top coats, fine coverts and worsted gabardines for only $40 and $45. And sport jackets for only $26.50. Smart new spring fabrics, including long-wearing worsteds, are ready for you right now. You'll be delighted, too, with their smart styling and the designing skill that assures your comfort. It's all the result of the unique Clippercraft plan, which concentrates the buying power of 1,036 of the nation's finest stores from coast to coast. Yes, selling expensive clothes at inexpensive low prices at the nation's finest independent stores is the great big idea behind the Clippercraft plan. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes. So be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suits, top coats, and sport jackets. In Manhattan, Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
And now back to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. We find them standing in front of a counter, sniffing the contents of several elegant glass jars filled with tobacco.
Yes, this, unless I'm very much mistaken, is the mixture the gentleman uses. Mr. Ashton, are there many gentlemen who buy this variety of tobacco?
Why, no, Mr. Holmes. It's rather special. And besides being expensive, I sell it to only 4 gentlemen in all.
Tell me, among those 4, is there an individual who's about Watson's height, well-dressed, he carries a silver-headed cane, is left-handed, and has a weakness for bergamot scent?
Why, no, Mr. Holmes, I'm afraid there's not one of the 4 fits that description.
No.
Mr. Hopworth has a silver-headed stick, but he's taller than you are. Mr. Eubanks is very short and can't abide scent. The Honourable Clarence Beswick is right-handed, a crack tennis player, you know. Colonel Jameson never appears out of uniform.
That tears it, Holmes. Maybe your confounded deductions aren't so infallible after all.
Now, hold on, though. There was a young gentleman came in yesterday answering that description.
He purchased some of this tobacco?
No, the young lady bought it for him. She buys it for all her admirers. He seemed rather shy about accepting a present from a lady, but she laughed and said she expected a present from him in return. Said he had never given her a proper present like some of her admirers.
Can you remember the gentleman's name?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Holmes. She didn't mention it. Just called him Freddie. But I do know the lady's name, sir.
Fine lot of good that'll do, eh, Holmes? One blind alley after another.
Stop burbling, Watson. What is the lady's name, Ashton?
Violet DeVille, the new prima donna at the Gaiety. The one there's been all that talk about.
Of course, Holmes. That's the girl the King of Portugal was supposed to have been so crazy about. Showered her with jewels. She's supposed to be one of the reasons he lost his throne.
So is every publicity-hungry actress in Europe. You mustn't believe everything you read in the papers, Watson.
Oh, balderdash. Well, what do we do now?
Now, let me see. It's just half an hour till curtain time. Dear little Violet should be putting on her makeup. I think if we drop around to the Gaiety, we might persuade the lady to show us the latest addition to her jewel collection.
There's 2 gentlemen to see you, Mr. Bill.
I can't see anyone now, Peter. Take the flowers or whatever they've brought and tell them to come back after the show.
They haven't brought anything, Mr. Bill, just themselves. It's Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the detective?
In person.
Oh, just a moment till I throw on my opening costume. I've always been dying to meet you.
She got one weakness, sir. She do love celebrities.
Show the gentleman in, Peter.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes and friend.
My usual billing.
Well, this is a pleasure. Do sit down, Mr. Holmes. You too, Mr.
Dr. Watson.
Oh, yes, of course. How stupid of me. I've read all your darling stories. So exciting. I do love to be thrilled. You do it so beautifully, you know.
Why, Mr. Veal, that is, well, I'm quite overwhelmed. I mean that a young lady of your obvious discernment...
But, of course, I suppose no one could help making the exploits of the great Mr. Sherlock Holmes exciting.
Yes, of course. Back among the also-rans.
And now, Mr. Holmes, I'm just bursting with curiosity. What brings you here? I've always understood you were practically a woman-hater.
Not hater, my dear Miss Violet. I'm just, shall we say, on to their little tricks.
Oh, dear. And I was so hoping to try mine out on you. I've some very effective ones, you know.
Save them for some more susceptible victim.
Oh, dear, I've always had a weakness for rude, self-sufficient men.
Got you that time, Holmes.
Don't interrupt, Watson. My dear Miss Violet, if I may call you that.
I'd love it, unless you'd rather call me Vi.
Miss Violet will do. I've come to warn you not to accept a present of jewelry from a certain fashionable young man.
Gracious, I wonder which one you can mean. A girl in my position gets so many presents, you know.
Suppose I specifically warn you against accepting pearls from a gentleman whose name is, shall we say, Freddie.
Oh, this is fascinating. Why shouldn't I accept them, Mr. Holmes?
Because he acquired them in a rather unorthodox fashion.
I do believe you're trying to tell me Freddie stole them. Oh, but that's delicious. If you only knew how deliciously ridiculous. Freddie just couldn't possibly have stolen those particular pearls.
Then you have already accepted them.
What makes you jump to that interesting conclusion, Mr. Holmes?
My dear Miss Violet, you will never make a great dramatic actress until you learn to control your reactions. When I first mentioned the pearls, your eyes darted quickly to your makeup box to see if they were in sight. Then when I intimated they might have been stolen, you couldn't resist closing the lid.
This is ridiculous, Mr. Holmes. Freddie wouldn't steal anyone's pearls. Oh, I'll admit he's hot-headed and impulsive, but he wouldn't steal.
Are you sure? How well do you know Freddie,
Better than you do, at any rate, Mr. Holmes. I may not be a great dramatic actress, but I do recognize the gift when I see it. You didn't come here to warn me not to accept any pearls. You came here to find out who gave them to me. You don't even know Freddie's last name. Sorry, but you won't get it from me.
Don't you think you're getting a bit rash, my dear Miss Violet? I mean, why risk getting on the wrong side of the law for a string of imitation pearls?
Imitation?
Yes.
Don't be silly, Mr. Holmes. Freddie's pearls are real, right enough. They've been in the family for years.
What makes you think he's given you the real ones, Miss Violet? Surely you must know Freddie has other, interests.
If you mean that bandy-legged little soubrette at the Savoy, I know all about that. It was all over months ago.
Then why did he give her the real pearls just half an hour ago?
Mr. Holmes, you're a brilliant detective. But you should not underrate feminine intelligence. It was a beautiful trap, Mr. Holmes, but just a bit too obvious. Now, if you'll excuse me, I hear the overture. My public is waiting. Do come again, Mr. Holmes, when you've thought up some more tricks. Now, if you don't mind leaving.
Not at all. Thank you. We've quite finished.
Yeah, interesting female, eh, Holmes? I don't know when I've more thoroughly enjoyed an interview.
Ah, an excellent dinner, if I do say so myself, Watson. Pheasant was almost perfect.
Undoubtedly, and it will put a jolly little crimp in our budget. Late dinner at Prince's Restaurant, champagne and caviar. I don't know what's got into you, Holmes.
Oh, calm yourself, Watson. It all goes on the bill I shall send Blevins and Possitor in the morning.
Holmes, you're really outrageous. You've made a hash of the case, you found out absolutely nothing, and yet you have the effrontery to talk of sending a bill in the morning. Well, you should be ashamed of yourself.
On the contrary, Watson, I think I've done rather well.
Well, that DeVille woman made an absolute ass of you.
You mean that's the impression I permitted her to gather? She thinks she didn't give me the pearl thief's name. Actually, she spelled it out in block letters when she admitted they'd been in Freddie's family for generations. Whose pearls were they, Watson?
Lady Waverly's, of course.
Then putting two and two together, the thief must be a Waverly as well. Sir Freddie Waverly is a well-known young man about town with a weakness for ladies of the theatre. As simple as that.
You mean he's stolen his own mother's pearls?
His stepmother's, Watson. Freddie's always resented her. If his father hadn't married for a second time shortly before his death, Freddie would have inherited the pearls years ago.
But why all this bother about imitation pearls?
Freddie doesn't know they're imitations. It's never occurred to him that his stepmother keeps the real ones in the vault.
Yes, well, if you're so sure of yourself, why not go to him and demand he return the silly things?
If we were that gauche, Watson, the lady would probably refuse to give them up. No, you may count on it. Miss Violet will return them to him of her own accord as soon as the performance is over.
And how do you reach that interesting conclusion?
Freddie may not suspect that they are imitations, but dear little Violet is not so naive. Once you were out of the way, you can count on it, she rushed back and bit into the necklace. Yes, I don't imagine she took her discovery very placidly. They must have had an interesting performance tonight at the Gaiety.
Yes, but Holmes, that performance was over nearly 20 minutes ago. We'd better get ourselves along to Sir Freddie's flat, wherever that is, or Miss Violet will get there ahead of us. Chances are she won't wait to remove her makeup.
My dear Watson, why do you think I ordered a table in the window? Sir Freddie Waverly resides just opposite there in the impressive architectural monstrosity known as Albany, in flat 2A to be exact.
I say, Holmes, there comes a carriage tearing down the street. It stopped across the way. Yes, by Jove, that's Violet getting out.
Quick, Watson. We'd better rescue the Honorable Freddie before she tears his hair out by the roots. Down this corridor, Watson. Yes, there's Miss Violet. Just going to 2A now.
Violet, darling. But how jolly to see you here. I mean, I hadn't hoped so soon that you wouldn't receive the pearls this afternoon.
Not those pearls. How dared you give me those pearls? I've never been so insulted in all my life.
Oh, come off it, Vi. You've accepted jewelry from gentlemen before this.
Yes, jewelry, not paste.
Violet, what are you raving about?
What sort of a fool do you take me for? Do you think I don't know the real ones went to that little scarecrow at the Savoy? Well, give her these. She can put them on her poodle.
If you don't mind, Miss Violet, I'll relieve you of those pearls. And we may as well collect the tea service while we're at it, Watson. I see the boxes standing just inside the door.
What is this, a burglary?
You should recognize the symptoms, Sir Freddie.
If you think I've got to stand here and let two
Oh, don't be a bigger idiot than you can help, Freddie. This isn't a thief. Sherlock Holmes.
And don't be alarmed, Sir Freddie. These are not the Waverly pearls. Those are quite safe in Lady Waverly's bank vault.
You mean that little floozy hasn't got them?
Do dear me, no. That was just a trick on Holmes' part.
Why, you unspeakable...
Yes, Miss Violet. You should never underrate the masculine intelligence, you know.
Particularly when it belongs to Sherlock Holmes.
Well, I must say that was a neat bit of work on Holmes' part, Dr. Watson. And now, how about a hint about next week's story?
All right. Well, next week I'll tell you how Holmes made a startling and dramatic appearance after several years' absence, and how we stalked a tiger who carried one of the most ingenious and deadly weapons Holmes was ever threatened with.
The makers of Clippercraft clothes and 1,036 leading stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character of Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes is played by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by Alfred Shirley, and the dramatizations are by Edith Meiser. Sherlock Holmes is produced and directed by Basil Lochran, with special music by Albert Berman. If you don't know your Clippercraft dealer, write Clippercraft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Be sure to listen next Sunday to Sherlock Holmes in the Adventure of the Empty House. This is Cy Harris speaking for Clippercraft Clothes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Melvin Elliott with the news will follow station identification.
Welcome back. Well, by way of observation, I think that it's somewhat interesting. This series of Sherlock Holmes seems to have Holmes not so much as a mystery solver, but as a problem solver, where the mystery is really quite thin. And but in this case, it did kind of work off. We got to feel he's kind of clever here. Though I don't know, clever for the most brilliant detective of all time. But anyway, a pretty good episode here. We do turn now to listener comments and feedback. And this one is from Scott, who says, I think your show is great. I found The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes on DVD. It has 4 feature films and the entire 39 episodes from the TV show. It stars Nigel Bruce and Basil Rathbone. It's a pity that Box 13 ended, but keep on doing this podcast. It's really good. Well, I hope you enjoy it. To be clear, and sometimes some of those DVD sets don't make it very clear, the television set actually star star Donald Howard as Sherlock Holmes. Still a delightful series. And I'm hoping to play another few episodes of that for our video theater coming up this summer. Some fine entertainment that's made it into the public domain, so there are a lot of sets of those out there. All right. Oh, and if you have Netflix, that series is available. At least 38 of the episodes of that series are available if you have Netflix, so you can watch that on the Instant Watch. All right, well, that will do it for now. We will be back tomorrow with yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and next week another episode of Sherlock Holmes. I want to say this episode of The Great Detectives of Old Time Radio is brought to you by the support of our listeners. And I want to say thank you to Leanna and to Donald for sending along a donation. And we'll be sending along access to our premium site. Leanna left a comment which we'll share after the show. Here now is today's episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, from June 2nd, 1953. The Costain matter.
John Lund as Johnny Dollar.
Hi, Johnny. Shelley Thomas at Federal.
You're up early today.
I've already been at my desk for 2 hours. How'd you like to work on one for me?
What's it about?
In cold, hard claim cash, it comes to exactly $12,482.16.
That's interesting. What does it mean?
Somebody's been filching a lot of merchandise over in Toledo, and it's beginning to hurt. Could you get over there and have a look around?
Sure. But it sounds like a police job to me.
Well, I don't expect any miracles, Johnny. I just want a good factual report on the whole business for my clients.
See you in an hour. John Lund in the transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Federal Insurance and Claims Adjusters, 2044 Appalachian Drive, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Costain matter. Expense account item 1, $49.15. Plane fare and incidentals, Hartford to Toledo. En route, I read over the details concerning the case. 37 stolen merchandise claims had been filed and paid off in what looked like a first-class shoplifting epidemic in Toledo. I parked my 2 bags at the Commodore Perry Hotel and went over to the main police station. Lieutenant Sturgis was in charge.
Sit down, sit down.
Thanks.
Federal Insurance and Claims Adjusters.
That's right.
You're here to find out what we've been doing about all this shoplifting, is that it?
Well, we represent the insurance companies who've had to pay off on these theft claims.
Yeah, sure, I see. Well, where do you want to start?
Let me see. How about this Mommy dress shop, Lieutenant?
Okay. Uh-huh. Let's see. February 10th. Proprietor Mrs. Bancroft registered a complaint with us that a dress and a coat were missing from the store racks. Well, we went over there and talked to her about it, made out the report as another shoplifting job, and put a description of the coat and the dress in the hot sheet.
Mm-hmm. Dress wholesaled at $113. Coat had a fur trim. Went at $395.
Yeah. Looked a little better than most shoplifting jobs to us. We had it in mind when we got another complaint 3 days later from a place over on Oak Avenue.
That'd be, Milady's Shoppy?
Yeah. Negligee and a silk robe.
Yeah, we covered that one, too. Both of them came to $286.
Yeah, same thing as the Mommy. Clerks hadn't seen anyone, didn't know anything. The week of the 15th, we had 2 more complaints. On the 23rd, 3 complaints. They've been coming in regular ever since. Until the last one's 3 days ago. Always the best stores, always expensive merchandise. We rounded up every known shoplifter in our files, and we've had our store personnel at all of our lineups. No one's been able to make an identification so far. First, we thought it was a plain expert shoplifting done by a well-organized gang.
Looks that way.
Not so much anymore. Did you notice on your list there that all of these items are for a woman?
Yeah.
Dresses, coats, blouses, cosmetics, millinery, costume, jewelry, and so on. Now, what we didn't pick up until about a month ago is that all of the articles of clothing that have been taken are for a woman who wears a size 10 dress.
That is a funny one.
Yeah, and it rules out a gang right away. There's pattern to it, but I'm going to have someone else tell you about that.
Yes, Lieutenant?
See if Sergeant Beidler's in.
Right.
99 times out of 100, a shoplifter will take anything he or she can get her hands on, regardless of cost, size, color, or anything else. So we don't think this is the work of an old-timer either.
You mean somebody's just gathering up a nice wardrobe at my insurance company's expense?
Something like that. If any of these stolen articles have been sold or disposed of, we'd have a lead by now. The stuff has been on the hot sheet for months. We've covered pawn shops, second-hand store. Yes?
Sergeant Beidler on 2.
Right. Hello, Sergeant. How's it going?
Fine, thanks, Lieutenant.
There's a man in my office named Dollar. I'm sending him down to see you.
Women in the department reacted a little differently than the men to all this.
How's that, Sergeant?
Well, when they went over the stolen property sheets, they were first impressed, of course, by the fact that all of the clothing was for someone who wore a size 10. The other thing, though, was the good taste.
Well, a lot of thieves have good taste, I suppose.
This one seems to have not only good taste, but a pretty exclusive taste.
You mean the expensive places that have been robbed?
Well, that. But even more. You see here. On March 4th, one green suede coat missing from Toll's apparel shop, and here on the 13th. A brown organdy dress from the Commodore, and here. Cocoa-colored sports coat.
Yeah?
Hats and gloves in green and brown, beige, sometimes yellow. No other colors.
Well, what does it mean?
Any woman who restricts herself to these particular colors in dressing, green, brown, beige, cocoa, yellow, must have a very definite coloring of her own. We think a redhead with green eyes.
Well, you know best about that. But, why green eyes? Couldn't they be blue or brown?
Yes, they could be. But there's been a particular emphasis on green in the coats and dresses that have been stolen. And besides that, there's the cosmetics. Did you cover Jaeger's?
Jaeger's, let me see. No.
Well, Jaeger's is a very plush cosmetic store here. Nothing but perfumes and makeup. They reported March 2nd, a whole box of green eyeshadow had been stolen from one of their counters.
And green eyeshadow only goes with green eyes?
Yes, whereas blue eyeshadow would fit a person with either blue or brown eyes. Now, at the same time the eyeshadow was taken, several tubes of lipstick and rouge were also stolen. Both of those items contained orange tinting. That gives us another reason for thinking the eyes are green.
I'm convinced. A redhead with green eyes.
Oh, and it's a short hairdo.
It is?
Look at my hair.
I am, Sergeant.
With a short hairdo like mine, I'd look rather ridiculous in a big picture hat that requires a hair frame. But a small hat, one with a tight contour, would be all right.
Hey, I'm coming around. The Case Millinery store, eh?
Yes.
4 hats. Total value $185?
Yes, those hats that were taken from cases were small, especially designed for a woman with a short hairdo. We think that some of the costume jewelry that's been stolen ties in with the clothes, too.
Well, how does it stand right now?
We've had our troubles on this one. It's impossible to tie up the manpower it would require to cover every dress and apparel shop in town, not to mention the department stores.
Sure.
We're doing the next best thing. No store has been taken a second time, so we've spotted a dozen policewomen from my department and as many stores around town that still hasn't been hit. They're closing as clerks.
How long has this been going on?
Since Monday. Maybe we'll get a lead this way.
Yeah. Sergeant, this is just a wild one, but suppose a red-headed woman with green eyes isn't doing it after all. Suppose somebody's doing it for her.
We've thought of that, and it looks like a possibility. None of the personnel we've questioned in any of these stores has been able to say definitely whether or not they saw anyone with red hair on the premises or around the shop to fit the time incident of the particular robbery.
I see.
There's another thing we're working on, too, beauty shops.
Oh?
She's a redhead, and she's got all of these expensive clothes. It's a good bet she keeps herself up. You know, has her hair and nails done regularly.
Yeah.
He's covered about 50 different beauty salons in town, the best ones. Told them the kind of woman we're looking for and given them an idea of what she'll be wearing.
Well, if she's still in town, something should break pretty soon. I'd like to go over the original complaints, if it's possible.
Main filings on the second floor. Ask for Sergeant Kelly, and he'll give you what you want.
I'll do that. Thanks a lot. After a full day and a half of studying the crime reports, I wholeheartedly agreed with Lieutenant Sturgis and Sergeant Beidler. Since none of the stolen articles had appeared in any of the usual places for disposal, I was convinced it was not the work of an organized gang or of a previous offender. All clothing that had been taken was the same size and a small variety of colors, and, as Sergeant Beidler had pointed out, suited only to a certain type of woman with definite physical characteristics: red hair, green eyes. Johnny Dollar.
I think we've got something here.
What?
The lead on one of the coats.
I met Lieutenant Sturgis in the police garage, and we drove over to Toll's apparel shop on West Oak Street. One of the clerks there had phoned in and reported she'd seen a woman wearing a green suede coat that had been stolen from the store a month before. The clerk's name was Alice Emerson.
I'm sure it was the coat.
Well, how can you be sure of that, Mrs. Emerson?
Well, it was the only one like it in the entire store. And as far as I know, in Toledo, it had a gathering at the back and gold buttons. I just knew that coat the minute I saw it on her. I just knew it.
Oh, this was about half an hour ago, you say?
Yes, I was on my lunch hour, and I was eating at the Westgate.
The cafeteria?
Yes. She was about 3 people ahead of me in the line. I didn't remember at first that the coat had been from us, but when I sat down to lunch, I recalled it.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't know what to do exactly. Then I thought, well, I'd better make sure it is the coat, you know. I wouldn't want to make trouble for anyone.
What did you do?
Well, she had a table over by the wall eating her lunch alone. So I finished my lunch, and I walked over near her, and I took a good look at the coat. It was our coat, all right. The one that was taken from that rack over there. I was going right out on the street and call a policeman, but I guess she got a little suspicious of me looking at her the way I did, and she got up and left.
What did she look like, Mrs. Emerson?
Oh, she was a nice-looking woman. About my size, 30 or so. Very nice.
What color was her hair?
Dark. Very dark.
Dark? Black, you mean?
Or dark brown. I don't know which.
Did you happen to notice the color of her eyes?
No, I didn't, but she wore glasses. Horn-rimmed.
You're certain it's the same coat?
Oh, I'm positive.
Have you ever seen the woman before?
No, never. At least I don't think I have.
Nothing familiar about her at all?
No.
Did you happen to notice which direction she went in when she left the cafeteria?
No, I don't know where she went. She just got into a taxicab.
I went with Lieutenant Sturgis to the offices of the taxicab company that covered metropolitan Toledo. There we began checking the waybills as they came in. Since less than an hour had elapsed from the time Mrs. Emerson called in, we didn't have to go through too many of them. At the intersection of Oak and Westgate, which was right in front of the cafeteria, cab number 418 had carried a fare to a hotel apartment house called the Colonial on the east side of town, Yondota Street. We spoke with the driver of the cab on the phone when he checked into the office. He remembered the fare. A woman in a green suede coat. Try that.
Yeah.
Hello, can I help you?
Police.
Oh?
Sometime in the last hour, a cab brought a woman to this address. We'd like to talk to her. She's about 5'4", about 30, dark hair, wearing a green suede coat. You know?
Well, let's see.
Wore horn-rimmed glasses?
Well, I've got 175 apartments here. Wait, a green suede coat?
Yeah.
Well, Miss Jones.
Jones, huh?
Yes, Lillian Jones. She just checked in 2 days ago.
Alone?
Yes.
What apartment is she in?
1429. Shall I ring her?
No, never mind. We'll just go on up. From the description we gave the desk clerk at the Colonial Apartments, he identified our suspect as Lillian Jones, apartment 1429. She'd come in approximately 20 minutes before we'd arrived. As far as the clerk knew, she was still in her apartment. We took the self-service elevator up to the 14th floor.
It ought to be down this way.
Hey, wait. 1410, then it goes to 21.
Yeah. Oh, the corridor.
Oh, yeah.
Lillian Jones?
What do you want?
Police. Like to talk to you.
May we come in?
We can talk here.
It'll be easier inside.
Here's all right for me.
Let's go inside, Miss Jones.
Okay. What's this all about?
A woman who works at Toll's apparel shop saw you in the Westgate cafeteria at lunchtime today. She said you were wearing a coat that was stolen from them.
She's a liar. I don't even know where Toll's apparel shop is.
She was pretty certain about it.
I've been here all day. I had my lunch here.
Anybody with you?
What do you mean?
Did you eat alone?
Sure, I ate alone.
Miss Jones, we can get the woman from Toll's to come over here and identify you.
Say, listen.
And we can get the cab driver who brought you here to identify you, too.
You'd all be lying. I've been here all day.
You prove it?
Sure, I can prove it.
Clerk downstairs said you just came in about 20 minutes ago.
He's lying, too.
It's a green suede coat. You have a green suede coat?
No. Listen, you just get out of there.
Where's the coat, Miss Jones?
I don't know what coat you're talking about.
A green suede coat. Now, what'd you do with it?
I don't have a green suede coat.
Do you have any objection to our looking around?
You bet I have.
All right, we'll get a search warrant. I'm afraid you'll have to come with us, Miss Jones.
I'm not going anywhere with anybody. Get out of here. Get out of my apartment. I'll make plenty of trouble for the both of you.
Come on, Miss Jones.
Lillian Jones had a record of one previous arrest 2 years before. The charge, grand theft. She'd been released for lack of evidence. Her profession was listed as a domestic. The saleslady from Toll's apparel shop appeared and positively identified her as the woman she had spotted in the Westgate cafeteria wearing the stolen coat. The cab driver who'd driven her from the intersection of Westgate and Oak to the Colonial Apartments was called in. He also identified her. She still refused to admit anything, maintaining that she hadn't left her apartment all day. Lieutenant Sturgis took a detail of men to her place to search the premises. I stayed with Sergeant Beidler while she questioned Lillian Jones.
Why won't you tell us what you did with the coat, Lillian?
I don't know what coat you're talking about. Honest, I don't.
Mrs. Emerson saw you wearing it at the cafeteria today. The cab driver saw you wearing it. The clerk at your apartment desk saw you wearing it.
They're all liars. I don't own a green suede coat. You people have no right to hold me like this and ask me all these questions. I haven't done anything.
What did you do with the coat?
There isn't any coat.
Where'd you hide it?
I want a lawyer. Can I call a lawyer?
Tell us about the coat. You stole it from Toll's apparel shop on March 4th. Isn't that right?
I don't know anything about Toll's apparel shop. I told you.
It's on Oak Street.
I'll drop in and say hello sometime.
What about the other thing?
What other thing?
You know what we're talking about, Lillian. Why don't you get it off your chest? We'll find out sooner or later. Who are you working with?
I want a lawyer.
Where's it hidden?
I want a lawyer.
You can make a statement now and save yourself a lot of trouble.
I want a lawyer.
We continued to question Lillian Jones regarding the green suede coat. She denied ever having such a coat in her possession. However, at 3:45 that afternoon, Lieutenant Sturgis returned with his detail of men. They had found the coat, stuffed into a clothes hamper.
I took it over to the shop, and the people there positively identified it as the one stolen on March 4th.
Yeah?
Yeah, it had their label and one of their stock tags in the pocket.
Well, that should do it.
I don't know what we've uncovered here, though. There wasn't anything else in the apartment that fit any of the other thefts.
Yeah? Well, you can hold her on this.
Oh, sure. I'll have her booked in right away.
Lillian Jones was charged with grand theft. Before she was taken to the main jail, she admitted that she had stolen the coat. But not from the apparel shop. From the home of a family by the name of Costain. She said she'd been employed there for 2 weeks as a domestic servant. Mr. Costain was a civil engineer with offices in downtown Toledo. They informed us that he'd already left for his home, so we drove out there to interview him. It was a large, 12-room place on the edge of town. A servant took us into the living room. A few moments later, a tall, gray-haired man in his early 50s made an appearance.
I'm Mr. Costain. I'm Lieutenant Sturgis, Mr. Costain. This is Mr. Dollar.
How do you do?
Police? That's right. I hate to bother you around dinner time like this.
Quite all right. Sit down, please.
Thanks.
We're holding a woman downtown named Lillian Jones, Mr. Costain. I understand you employed her at one time.
Lillian Jones? Oh, the maid, yes. Is she in trouble?
We're just checking her story. I see. She was in possession of a green suede coat at the time we took her in, Mr. Costain.
Mm-hmm.
She insists that she took the coat from your home.
Why would she say a thing like that?
Well, we don't know. We thought maybe you could clear that up.
I have no idea what she's talking about. I fired her last Tuesday, I believe it was. That was the last I saw of the woman.
Was she very angry when you fired her?
Not particularly. It's just that she didn't work out here very well. I gave her 2 weeks' pay, told her to go.
It's a green suede coat with gold buttons down the front.
I don't know where she got it, I'm sure, but I know she didn't get it here.
Funny she'd tell us she stole it from here?
Yes, it is. I don't know why.
Is Mrs. Costain at home?
Mrs. Costain passed away last February.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a daughter?
No.
We have to check into all these things, you know.
Oh, I understand. I wish I could help you.
You can if you will, Mr. Costain.
How's that?
Would you mind dropping into my office tomorrow and taking a look at the coat?
I don't know what good that would do, but I'll be glad to do it.
You just might recognize it. Perhaps it belonged to Mrs. Costain.
Possibly. Although I don't remember it.
Room 212 in the main building.
All right, Lieutenant. I'll be there in the morning.
Fine.
Sorry to have bothered you.
Not at all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Did you see it?
The color print on the piano?
Yeah. A red-headed woman with green eyes.
A check in the neighborhood revealed that the Costains had been living in Toledo less than a year. Before that, they'd lived in Detroit. Financially, they were in the upper income bracket. The house was completely paid for. There were 2 expensive late-model cars in the garage. The Office of Vital Statistics informed us that Mrs. Costain had died on February 6th of a heart condition. It also noted that her hair had been red, her eyes green.
Lieutenant Sturgis, robbery. Oh, yes, of course. I see. Well, are you going to be home? 5. Arnold Costain.
Yeah?
Yeah, he just changed his story. He said he did know that Lillian Jones stole that coat when she left the house.
Did you give any reason for not admitting it when we were there?
No, just wants to see us.
I'm afraid I've caused you some trouble on this.
We don't quite understand why you didn't tell us about it last night.
It's rather simple, probably rather silly. I have a devil of a time keeping servants here for some reason. If a notice got in the paper, I'd accused one of them of theft. Well, I'd have a difficult time getting another one. They're that way.
That coat's worth over $600, Mr. Costain.
Yes, I know. It belonged to my wife.
And you let it go like that?
Oh, I'm insured for personal loss.
Did you report this to your insurance broker?
Oh, yes.
Did you file a claim?
Yes.
What's your broker's name?
Mr. Levant. He has offices in the Metropolitan Building.
When did you report the loss?
On Wednesday.
You mind if I call him and check this?
I don't see why that's necessary. I've just told you what I did about the matter.
Oh, we're still puzzled, Mr. Costain. That coat was reported stolen from Toll's apparel shop last March 4th.
That's absurd, of course. Mrs. Costain bought that coat for herself a week or so before her illness.
Did she handle it, or did you?
What do you mean?
Well, did she pay for it, or were you billed?
I suppose I was billed. I don't recall. Are you insinuating that Mrs. Costain might have stolen that coat?
No, Mr. Costain. Your wife was already dead when that coat was stolen.
Oh, no. You're wrong.
What do you mean?
Edna's not dead. She'll come back. When she does, I'll have all these things for her. The things I denied her before.
Denied her?
Yes. I always told Edna she was too extravagant, that she didn't need all those expensive things.
Well, you could have bought them. Why did you steal them?
I always denied her the things she loved. When Edna went away, I don't know what came over me. Loneliness seemed too much somehow. I'd go out during the day from my office and wander through the stores that she used to love very much. And whenever I had the opportunity, I stole the things she always wanted.
What did you do with them?
They're in Edna's bedroom, hanging in her wardrobe. Would you like to see them?
Expense account item 2, $75.25, board and room while in Toledo. Item 3, $62, miscellaneous. Item 4, $41.10, plane fare back to Hartford. Expense account total, $227.50. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars John Lund in the title role and was written by E. Jack Newman with music by Milton Charles. Featured in tonight's cast were Hal March, Hy Averback, Edgar Barrier, Virginia Gregg, Mary Lansing, and Peggy Weber. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, was transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Charles Lyon, inviting you to join us again next week at this same time when, from Hollywood, John Lund returns as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Welcome back. Well, this was interesting to me for a number of reasons. First of all the thoughts about clothes and dresses and coats that I guess as a guy I just never thought of. And I think this is the first time Johnny Dollar has had a female police officer in a major role here, though in somewhat a stereotypical fashion, telling what goes with what. I guess that's something that a lot of us miss. All right, now to listener comments and feedback. Leanna said, I would like to say I really enjoy the podcast. They bring back memories of when I was little, driving with my father and listening to the reruns on the AM radio channels. Thanks for providing these. Keep up the great work. Regarding the episode of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, episode 620, The Rochester Theft Matter, I said I did not remember this having been made into a 5-part serial. But Timothy comments, Adam, on the March 9th, 2012,
In episode 620, you said you didn't think there was a 5-part made of this Johnny Dollar. I think that the Todd matter is the exact same storyline. The writing credits go to John Dawson, not E. Jack Newman. And Chris agrees. Yes, you're right, Timothy. It was the Todd matter. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I could be incorrect. It's been a while since I've listened to those 5-parters. And I debated going through them again because I had so much fun. But I wanted to kind of approach them fresh when we actually got to doing them on the show. So the good news is I'm forgetting some of them. So I will approach them much fresher when we get to actually do them on the show. But appreciate your comments. Let's see, we have a couple more from Facebook and even one from Twitter. Derek comments, Hey, Adam, I love your podcast and the time and effort you dedicate to it. It's a wonderful way for me to relax or occupy my mind during mundane activities. Should you decide that you are interested in beginning a new podcast, my request is The Shadow. There are few, if any, podcasts on the show, and the one decent one I found is far from organized. Thank you very much for all you do. Well, thanks so much for the comment, Derek. I've thought about The Shadow. The one thing that bothers me about The Shadow is this is one of those series where you have, well, in my mind anyway, fraudulent or inaccurate copyright claims on the series. You know, the episodes never had any copyright notice, and copyright at the law at the time didn't really address what to do with radio shows. But those ones are ones that are claimed ownership by Street and Smith publication, and so I'm loath to get into that sort of thing. It's an interesting series, but I'll be honest, I love the Orson Welles version, but I'm not as much into the William Johnstone version or the gentleman after William Johnstone. His name escapes me at the moment. Jeff comments, The 39 Steps was one of my very favorite podcasts of the year. Presently reading the Buchan story, which I rented through Kindle and my Amazon lending library. Cody tweets in that he's enjoying one of our extra or specials as well. Hey Adam, listening to DOA while I'm getting drilled at the dentist. Thanks for the distraction. No problem. Definitely a good anesthetic. And we have a review on the Johnny Dollar feed on iTunes. Jeff says, I found this podcast a few months ago and love it. This is a great show. And thanks so much, Jeff. And I appreciate everybody who leaves reviews on iTunes or just rates the show on iTunes. It definitely helps us in terms of growing our audience. And one more comment here. Actually, that'll do it. I'll save a couple of those comments for next week's episode of Sherlock Holmes. In the meanwhile, send your comments, box 13 at greatdetectives.net, Twitter at Radio Detectives, and give us a call, 208-991-4783. But from Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.